travel.
Every year will be a travel record, just
Mhm.
because more people keep entering the world. Great.
That's my theory. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, getting serious for a second here. We had John Hancock and Michael Kellyan every Friday as we do, but we were honored to have Janie Hughes Perez. Now, Janie Hughes Perez joined us on Friday. She is the wife of Alejandro Perez, who is the good friend of the Hancock family who is being deported. He is a husband and a father to a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, obviously Janie's husband, and he was taken by ICE when he was going to work in De Pere, several weeks ago now. And John Hancock texted us with an update, but we do have a little bit of audio from our conversation with Janie on Friday.
I mean, we were truly not expecting this because we had been told by even many U.S. Immigration lawyers that Alejandro is not the one they're going to go after because he has a clean record. Any kind of background check he passes. And so that's why it does not make sense if they're really trying to get rid of the worst of the worst people out here who cross the border. Alejandro does not fall into that category.
So yeah, as we said, he tried to do everything the right way. Yes, initially he had crossed the border illegally, but had since gotten a lawyer, gone through all the paperwork, had a social security card, a driver's license, and believed that everything was now all good. I mean, they paid $15,000 to make sure he was legal and everything was good, and he was on his way to work. ICE followed him to his place of work in De Pere, where they arrested him, gave very little information. Janie told the story of him calling her that morning, and she said she answered the phone, and Alejandro said, "How are you?" She knew something was wrong.
Because he had just left.
Just left. Yeah. And then he heard, "This is ICE, warrant for your arrest." Now we got an update that Alejandro has 2 uncles legally living in the U.S. today due to Ronald Reagan's sweeping amnesty in the 1980s. So Alejandro has one charge against him. As she said, he has a clear record. He has one charge against him, and that is that he's violating, quote, Undesirable Aliens Act of 1929, which specifically targeted Mexicans to remove them from the country. Now, again, for immigrants who came here, crossed the border illegally, which we understand, we have to get a handle on the border, which we do now. But for those who came here, established lives, tried to do things the right way, thought they had the paperwork, got jobs, settled down, got married, have kids, and are productive members of society, contributing members of society. Alejandro is the breadwinner for Janie and his kids. That is not who we're supposed to, quote, round up and bring out of the country. It was supposed to be worst first. Even, like we said, Ronald Reagan, classic Republican, understood that there needs to be amnesty. Yes, there's justice, but there's also mercy, and there's understanding where these people are coming from and what they have done since to make things right. And I didn't get to say this last week, Grunge. I think this is a big deal. We have not had a bad border policy for years, spanning multiple administrations. We've had basically no policy. It's been a political football that the parties have talked about, partisan football. We haven't really had a policy. It's a lack of policy. It's been chaos at the border. And so some of that confusion, our own politicians created for people in that situation who cross the border. Who knows what information they had if they think, okay, am I going to be okay if I cross the border? Is it okay if I cross the border illegally and try to apply afterwards? We created this confusing situation by having an unclear policy.
And we should remind people there was an agreement on a bipartisan border bill last year, and this current president asked his party to kill it, and they did. So would it have been perfect? Absolutely not. It was an agreement between 2 parties who worked very hard on it to get it done. There were compromises in it, which is how government is supposed to work, how Congress is supposed to work. Yes. Would it have been a step forward? Yes. Would it have helped in many different ways? Yes. And the Border Patrol Union at the time even said, yeah, we want this bill. They endorsed it. And the Republican Party killed it because the president, when he was a candidate for president, asked them to do so. So there have been steps or an attempt to take steps forward, but it was killed for political purposes.
And I'm even going further back than that because Alejandro came to the United States, before Trump was president, and I'm
Right.
saying Obama, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Reagan. It's been a mess for a long
Of
time,
course.
and
But
there
I think we
hasn't.
should acknowledge that there were attempts to make it better.
Yes, but
Recent.
to my point is there have been attempts recently, but the point is not the recent attempts. The point is it was confusing. It was bad. In some cases, you could say it was an attractive nuisance, saying, "Hey, you can come here. Things are going to be okay. We'll take care of you." To people who are trying to save their families who are in dire situations, the United States did not make that policy clear. So I bring that up, the decades of confusion, because you have people who came here to save their families, support their families from poverty, save them from cartels and corrupt governments. And once they got here, though they may have crossed illegally, many of them tried to make
Yep.
things right. And that's why Reagan granted broad amnesty. And that's why now, yes, I 100% agree. We need to control the border. We need to limit who's coming in. But for those who came in already for 10, 20, 30 years and have established themselves as Americans and contributing to our country, that's when we should have amnesty.
That was the whole point. That's what we want people here for. We want them here so that they can contribute, so that they can make things better for us. And I mean, how many number of it's a countless number of farmers or people who own farms who talk about some of the people who come and work on those farms because it is very difficult, long. Um, it's the kind of work that Americans that are already here don't really want to do. And the question is always asked of them, why don't you hire more American-born on immigrants to come here, whether it's a permanent or temporary basis, and we need people like that. And if we don't have them, then that makes everything for the rest of us worse because it raises costs. It makes goods more expensive for us. It's so, and I think it really just comes down to for a lot of people, and this isn't all, but for a lot of people, it's just flat out racism. They just don't like brown people.
Well,
They don't want them here. And I don't think it is any sort of real logical reasoning. It's just they have this hate in their hearts and they don't want people who don't look like them here. And so they will support measures that are being taken right now by ICE and by this current administration.
well, and this is why, if you feel helpless, you can help. So Alejandro, as we said, his wife Janie was here. His little girl Luna thinks that daddy slipped on the ice and went in a white van and is gone. She's 3 years old. She can't
Doesn't
understand
understand.
what's going on. So again, the law that is the lone charge against Alejandro is literally called the Undesirable Aliens Act of 1929. So it's a prejudiced law, and it is not what was initially promised, this process, when people thought it would be the worst first, like just the criminals, the people who are coming here committing crimes, and so forth and so forth. And if you want to help Alejandro, you can call Ann Wagner, Josh Hawley, Eric Schmidt, call their offices, email their offices about Alejandro Perez and tell them that you support him, that this is un-American, what's happening to him right now, that an American family is being torn apart under, again, called the Undesirable Aliens Act. And remember, Alejandro's uncles are here legally because of Ronald Reagan's amnesty policy in the 80s that said, hey, we get our border policy is insane. It doesn't exist. It was confusing. If you came here, you have a clean record, you have a family, you're a contributing member of society, you can stay here. And that's why I get it that the border was a concern, and that we needed to get control of who was coming in here. I get that, but that is different than taking a man who is a husband and a father who has been here now for years and years, is the breadwinner for his family, thought he was doing everything the right way, has a clean record, and ripping that family apart. Janie, by the way, Westminster graduate, right? Grew up with John Hancock's daughter. They're going to pack up because he has a Mexican passport. So whether it's in Mexico or if they, send him to Europe, he can go to Europe. He can go to New Zealand. And she said, "We're going to pack up. We're leaving."
All they've done is damage a family that has done nothing wrong, committed no crimes, and just been productive members of society. That's it. That's all they've done. Nothing was accomplished here. Nothing good is coming out of this. It's disgusting. I mean, the way this is all being done is gross and it's grotesque, and we should be all appalled by it. And unfortunately, aren't enough people who are appalled by it, but I do think the majority of people are. I think most people watching the way ICE has operated have said, no, this is not what we signed up for.
Right.
That's not what you said you were going to do.
Right. You thought worst first, right? Control the border. And I just say this, that you can call Wagner, Hawley, Schmidt, call their offices.
And the best thing to do is Google, just because there's so many phone numbers. We're not going to give them all out here, but Google Ann Wagner's office, Josh Hawley's office, Eric Schmidt's office, and tell them what you think.
Because you can help. I know, like looking at the national headlines, it looks like statistics. It looks too big. This is a family. This is a
local family.
A girl that went to Westminster.
And it isn't the only one.
Yeah, no.
It's not the only one.
That's what John said. He goes, as devastating and cruel as this is, they're not special in the sense that there's thousands of people.
We know about it because we happen to know somebody who's a friend of the family. And Janie, by the way, did say that she has reached out and talked to Ann Wagner's office and Josh Hawley's office. And they said, well, get a good lawyer. But she has also found that they can do more recently. So pressure them. Make sure you do that. It's Chris and Amy show. I'm glad you're with us today on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
Today was October 7th, 1944.
There when St. Louis celebrated.
The only streetcar World Series in St. Louis. It was the Cardinals against the Browns. And Stan the Man went deep.
And on first, 1 out. Top of the first inning. Stan Musial, another left-handed hitter. The slugger of the Cards stands in there. Pitch to him, swung on, a long ball hit deep to right field. It's going far left into right field. It's landing on the roof for a home run.
That was Stan's only home run of that series. The Cardinals beat the Browns in 6 games.
There for every headline, every heartbeat, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown at the towel. Sounds like you need 6 VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That fun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunningham, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from the ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Hey, y'all, this is Maggie Freeling, host of the new podcast, Up Advantage Weekly. Tune in each week as Payne Lindsay and I are joined by other true crime experts to take a fresh look at some of the most puzzling crimes and shine a spotlight on the cases that have stumped investigators for far too long. So go right now and search Up Advantage Weekly in your podcast app to follow the show. Listen for free wherever you get your podcasts.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hello, I'm John Rooney. Congratulations to KMOX on 100 years strong, truly making KMOX the voice of St. Louis.
Chris and Amy on KMOX. We appreciate you being with us today. 314-436-7900. We were just telling the story or recapping and giving an update on Jamie Perez and her husband, Alejandro Perez, a family whose lives have been disrupted by ICE as he is on the verge of being deported despite not having committed any crimes. And we welcome your thoughts. We talked to Chuck, who is joining us from Kirkwood. Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning. I so disagree with something you said, Ron. You said people are racist because they like brown people.
I said some people. Yeah, I mean, if you don't like brown people, then that would make you a racist.
They would?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the definition of it.
I got a whole lot of friends who are brown people.
Yeah.
Their parents came through in the 1950s and the 1960s legally.
Okay.
They got great jobs. All their kids are college graduates, and they're doing well. But it wasn't until Biden came along and you saw those caravans from South America coming north, and they tried to stop them at the border with wire and in Texas, those floating things. But no, that was illegal. What a mess. And then you got three cities, Chicago, New York City, Los Angeles, and San Francisco, which is, yeah, let them come in. Let them use our hotel. We'll give them money. And the poor people in a lot of states are paying for that now. And I just wish you weren't working at Channel Act. I really do, because you're so slanted.
Well, yeah, but it's called an opinion, Chuck, and like you have an opinion, which we appreciate your opinion, even though it kind of sucks.
Well, I'll say this to Chuck's point about when it was out of control and you had record numbers of people crossing the border. That was a concern.
That's why they had that bill ready to go last year.
74% of Americans, it was a concern. And so to Chuck's point, yes, and that's what I agree in the sense of we needed
This has nothing to do with Alejandro, who's done nothing wrong, committed no crime, and done nothing but contribute.
Well, yes, and that's what
It's nothing to do with that.
And that's what I'm trying to establish here is that, Chuck, I think when you're looking at the border, I think there are a lot of people, 74% of Americans were concerned about the border and the large groups of people who were coming in. And that's why we saw people being bused to New York or Chicago. And it was a giant mess. It was a humanitarian crisis. It was not good for Americans, especially in border towns. And it was not good for those people who were trying to cross the border illegally. That was a mess. We're not disagreeing that a lot of people wanted to deal with that issue. What we are saying is it was not supposed to be going after people who have been here for 10, 20, 30 years, much longer than before those caravans came. People who came here and tried to do things the right way, who eventually got their paperwork, whether it was a green card or citizenship, social security, driver's license, paying thousands of dollars to American lawyers to say, hey, how do I get this on the up and up? And then those people being rounded up by ICE. That's not the worst first, and that's not closing the border. That's not caravans of people. This is a dad who
Makes money for the family.
Makes money for the
Works
family.
hard.
Came here, 15 years ago, however long ago, thought he had everything done right. And that's why why it should be so appalling is it was not supposed to rip a family apart. A man who thought he was here legally, who paid $15,000 to a lawyer to say, hey, can you make sure all my paperwork's up and up? Like, yeah, here's your driver's license, here's your social security card. Married a girl
what else
from
did you think?
Chesterfield.
Well, if you're that person, you've spent all this money, you've talked to attorneys.
Yeah.
What would you think? Other than, well, I've done it the right way.
Yeah.
I've gotten legal. I'm doing the process and I'm going through it just the way I'm supposed to go through it so that I can be here legally. What else would you think? Any reasonable person would think that they have done it the right way.
And that's
So why would we target somebody like that? Because what we know is the law office that this family went to, a lot of others went to, was operating fraudulently, and they don't know that.
Would say criminal Americans.
And so what did ICE do? They grabbed a list of the clients,
victims, the victims.
people
Yes.
who were victims, and they went after everybody on the list. That's insanity.
Yeah, and as
It's
John
complete
Hancock said,
insanity.
it's a numbers game. They just wanted to have those numbers, and that's why it's so important you can call Hawley and Schmidt and Wagner's offices and say, listen, I agree. I voted for a stronger, tougher, stricter border policy. If that's what you wanted. Yes, I voted for that. I did not vote to go after someone like Alejandro who tried to do everything the right way. That's un-American.
If you're committing a violent crime, see ya. Go ahead. Let them take them out. But this is not what we're talking about here. This is not a family that's done anything wrong. And all they've done is the opposite. They have been contributing. They have lived good lives. And now that life is completely disrupted for no good reason.
And a girl who was born here in Chesterfield had her 2 babies here.
And they're going to leave the country.
They're going to leave the country because
So
they're
all
going to
you've
stay
done
with
is-
their husband.
All you've done
Their
is kick
husbands.
a family out of the country, it's just craziness. It's absolutely insane. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
From Cardinals Nation to Chiefs Kingdom, from the Sioux to Enterprise 7, St. Louis turns to the Gas House Gang with the biggest stories in sports.
The Gas House Gang on KMOX.
It's must-listen radio at noon, hosted by Tom Ackerman, Chris Ronchi, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Nicholas. 4 of the most informed and trusted voices in St. Louis sports. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon on 104.1 FM and 11:20 AM. KMOX.
This is Justin Brown with Trends Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. Is your financial advisor proactive or reactive? If your strategy or service feels stagnant or misaligned, it may be time for a change. Our defined, proactive approach to investments and communication keeps you informed and prepared for what's ahead. Let's talk about what makes us different and how a more engaged advisor can help you reach your goals. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Member FINRA, SIPC. Financial business number will be there.
Now, KMOX weather on the Salika Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
47 degrees and mostly cloudy in St. Louis. Might have a little rain this afternoon with a high of 56. The weather brought to you by the Pauly Agency. Hey, St. Louis, how would you like to see if you, your family, or employees qualify for a health insurance plan that is open enrollment year-round? Call the Pauly Agency. We put the sure in insurance. Call to set an appointment at 636-222-2149.
Join in the festivities as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra presents Beethoven's Seventh, Energy and Reverie. Sparks of energy will fly across Powell Hall in this spirited Thanksgiving weekend event featuring one of Beethoven's personal favorites, his blazing, boisterous Seventh Symphony. Pianist Joyce Yang joins to give her interpretation of Rachmaninoff's Rhapsody on a theme of Paganini, November 29th and 30th. Tickets at slso.org.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy window specialist. Winter just around the corner. Now is the time to think about Pella windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation or the website bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-224-5353. That's 800-224-5353. Again, that's 800-224-5353.
Discover the life you want at Fairwinds River's Edge in St. Charles. We deliver a life-enhancing environment that nourishes the mind, body, and spirit as residents lean into joy and embrace purpose in a new age of senior living. Simply put, we have your back so you can put your best foot forward. Join us Wednesday, December 3rd for our holiday craft fair, followed by happy hour with BB Boomers. Visit Fairwinds River's Edge on Facebook to learn more.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. For 43 days, the left kept the government closed, holding the American people hostage and demanding radical policy changes, including free health care for illegal immigrants. However, thanks to strong Republican leadership, the Senate voted to reopen the government and put America first. I'm thrilled to return to Washington so I can continue to vote to help Missourians, to secure our nation's borders, and to cut wasteful spending. Visit onder.house.gov to find the office closest to you.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives. Chris Raunchy, Amy Mark Scores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores with you. On a more positive note, Ranji, locally especially, I had a great time at the Salvation Army Red Kettle kickoff event. And you know, it was in conjunction with Winterfest that kicked off and the lighting of the Tree of Lights
It was a parade.
downtown. Dude, I had to drive through the parade.
There were streets blocked off when
Yeah.
it came down
I-
during the day, and I thought, what? Oh, I didn't know that we had this
Yeah.
parade.
I had to get to the Hilton at the ballpark. That's where the gala was.
Mhm.
But the parade had started. So there were very specific directions of how you had to approach the Hilton at the ballpark. And basically, it was this circuitous route and looped around the back. And then they had one lane open, and the cops asking, "Are you going to the Hilton?" And then they would let you through gaps in the parade. And they let all of us through. And it was my car was the last car to pull up to the valet section of the Hilton. And because of that, the back of my car was sticking out of the street. And so the cop said, "You need to pull up more." I said, "Okay, I'm in line." He goes, "Nope, pull up around here. There's a literal parade behind you." And I looked, and there was a drummer and a marching band.
They were waiting for you to move?
No, they were all around my car.
Oh.
Like, it was like splitting the Red Sea. So I had to pull up on the side of the valet line. And then I took a video outside the driver's side of my car because the parade, they could have hit my car with the drumsticks. It was pretty funny. But it was such an encouraging event. Just a couple things. One, I'm so honored to be the chair of the Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign this year. It is such a huge honor. And I've had so many people tell me of everything I've done, they're like, "This is an honor. This is a big deal that you get to be the chair." So I do have my virtual Red Kettle up at salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores, where you can donate. But it was so encouraging, Ron, because the money for the Salvation Army in St. Louis stays here. And it's such a great way to help your neighbor. And that was kind of the talk that I gave. It's pretty depressing reading the news headlines and, being in this business and seeing what's going on around the world. And it can make you feel helpless.
Mm-hmm.
And being at that event and seeing the stories of lives that were changed, like a single mother who couldn't provide food and was trying to take care of her kids and couldn't have a home. They turned the water off. And they turned the electric off. And now she went to the Salvation Army and they helped her get on her feet. Or another man, his name was Jeff. He gave a story about, being mired in addiction and homelessness. And he walked through the doors of a Salvation Army, and it turned his life around. And he had his little dog called Homie, and Homie was with him for 14 years. And he said he put Homie through a lot, because of his addiction and his homelessness. And he promised Homie that he would have a little house with a yard, and with the Salvation Army help overcome his addictions and get a job. And he got his house. So now Homie has a little yard. It was so encouraging. It was so fun. And Blessing Offer is a singer-songwriter. He performed, and oh my gosh, he was born in Nigeria. He came here when he was 6. He came here actually because he was blind in one eye and was going blind in another eye, and they were trying to save his eyesight, but we're not able to. There's an accident, and he is completely blind, and he learned to play the piano. And now, that's his story. He's a Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter, and he played for like 25, 30 minutes at this grand piano and sang. You ever listen to an artist sing and play where it's a pretty intimate venue and you're just transported to another world because it's so good?
No, I usually feel very uncomfortable when it's
really?
Yeah, like when we have an artist come in here and I love them.
Okay.
And they bring their guitar and start playing, I feel very uncomfortable.
Well,
because they're for an audience of
pretty
3.
small. Yeah.
The smaller the venue, the more uncomfortable I feel, because I feel like I'm supposed to react. And if I don't react, if I don't react, like have big facial expressions, then I look like I'm not enjoying it.
You never have big facial expressions.
That's what I mean. So when I'm at a concert that I really enjoy, if you looked at me, you wouldn't think that I'm liking it.
You should go to a concert with my sister. She loves concerts, but you would think that she hates it.
Yeah. You would think that I look really bored, and I'm not. Like inside, I'm having the time of my life.
There's little Ranj inside you just dancing around. Yeah. But outside Ranj is just curmudgeon.
Yeah.
Well, you should go to a concert with my sister. She'll sit there with her arms crossed, as serious as a car accident, just sitting there, having the time of her life. But she looks bored.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me. That's me. And
Why is it? What's wrong with you?
I don't know. Like, I'm not one of those like big, I just don't have and I speak with my hands, which is why it's crazy.
You're doing it right now.
I'm doing it right now.
You were gesturing.
Yes, but I don't do a lot of gesturing at concerts.
That would be weird if you just gestured.
People have their arms up and they're doing all this and they're clapping, and I'm just not that.
We have a texter that says small venues freak me out.
Yeah. Like, I would love a small venue, but I need a decent amount of people there. So how many people were there watching this person play?
A couple hundred. I could reach out and touch the grand piano.
Okay.
And he was playing.
See, I wouldn't like being that close.
He played. I know.
Because he would stop and say, "Are you reading this?"
I think he said, "Do you know the words?" He would stop. He played "This Christmas" by Donny Hathaway, and then at one point he stopped. He said, "Listen to these notes. They don't make any sense, but they're so good." And then he sang praise songs, but then he also sang Christmas songs, and then he played a little bit of Purple Rain to show you this guy's range. And it was so good. His biggest hit right now is called Brighter Days, but I like his jazz and funk. And at one point, there was a little bit of a delay before the kids were going to come up and sing a Christmas song with him. And he said, "Oh, we've got a couple minutes. I'll just play some jazz." And he took over the piano. And I felt like I had been transported to a different world. I was singing along. I was swaying. See, I'm the opposite of you. I'm all in concerts. I sing, I dance, I rock, which is not a surprise because I rock during this show.
Yeah, you do a lot of that.
Yeah.
You're like a captive elephant.
You say that, and ever since you've said that,
have you noticed it?
I agree. Yeah. Because I'm not supposed to be sitting still.
Right. Elephants are supposed to walk like 100 miles a day or something like that.
Yeah.
And when they're in captivity, they just kind of sway back and forth. That's what you do.
Yeah. But anyway, he was really, really good. And I will say this about small venues. Do you know the band Camp? CAAMP? They're pretty big now. Like, they've sold out Red Rocks.
Only from you.
Okay. Well, you guys
are pretty big now. I've never heard of that.
They're really, no, they are. Like, they played like Madison Square Gardens and they sold out Red Rocks. But I saw them when they were just getting started. So I don't even know if this place is still around. What is the Gaslight District, in St. Louis? And there was like the Gaslight Bar.
It was on Olive, and I want to say Boyle.
By the Botanical Gardens?
No.
Oh,
Gaslight Square, is that what you're
that's what I'm
thinking
thinking
of?
of. Gaslight Square.
Yeah, that's been going. It's like residential homes now.
Yes.
It's Central West End.
Okay. Well, I thought it was like at Botanical Gardens. We went to something that was called like the Gaslight Bar or something.
Well, maybe
Anyway,
there's a bar, but there used to be a whole
Yeah,
entertainment
the whole
district.
entertainment district.
Yeah, that's all that stuff's gone.
At any rate, this place we went to, it was a really small room, and then there was a really small recording studio.
Oh, you're thinking of Gastro Pub, the Gastro Pit
No,
on Shaw.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe close.
Kings Highway and Shaw.
But
Yeah.
there's a recording
it's
studio
close,
in it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you know how small it is.
Yeah.
And the recording studio is like half the size
Some
of
of the
this
taco
studio.
places, Rockstar Tacos. I'm
Just
serious.
speculating the rest of
No,
the
no,
show.
it is. Yeah, it's right on the corner
Okay,
there.
yeah,
Kings
yeah,
Highway.
Gastro Pub.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
place
know
is
why,
closing, by the
because
way.
I always knew it had gas.
I know. That's what made me think of this place. Is it the Gastro Pub?
Yeah, no, totally off. I was wrong. But anyway, in that studio, it was camp. Camp is two guys, me and three friends, and they played a set for us. I mean, it doesn't get any smaller than that.
Yeah,
it
I would
was
not like that.
so good. It was. I like the small venues.
Yeah,
not like that. I don't want to be part of an audience of 4 because then I feel like I have to. Whoa, this is amazing! Best thing I've ever seen.
You know why?
I can't-
Well, this is because here's the thing. I've been on the other side of that, and it's so much worse for the performer. When I was like touring, giving like speaking engagements, book signings for my books, sometimes it would be 200 people. That was easy. I could talk in front of 10,000 people. Do you know what's hard? Giving a speech to 6 people. That is so stressful. And do you know how many book signings I went to? People don't show up to these things. The majority of my book signings, it's like
I just can't
6
believe you have
people
book signings.
or 10. Yeah, I traveled. It'd be like 6 people or 10 people, and they would have a microphone set up, and then you're like, oh, we're not gonna do the microphone. But that is so much more nerve wracking. I would rather speak to an arena of 50,000 people than speak to 5. It's hard. For me, it's the opposite.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with either of those things. I just have a problem being the audience in a small audience. That's it. I just don't.
Then our worst
'cause I
nightmare would
don't-
be
I
me
want
giving a
to-
speech to you.
Yes, that would be the absolute worst. Yes, in fact, it happens every day. It's
It
awful
does.
because then I just don't have the. I don't do a lot of the emoting. I need more emoting. Like I want to be in the front row of a big concert or any kind of concert, but I don't want to have the pressure of making the performer feel like I am really into it.
Well, here's a performer here. As a Neil Diamond performer, all I know are small venues, and they still suck.
Oh. Wait, so this is a Neil Diamond tribute artist?
Yep.
Is that what this is?
It sounds like it.
Well,
I heard that Neil Diamond, for real, does not allow any workers to make eye contact with him. Anybody that's not like his approved.
I heard that about Steve Harvey.
Really? The
Yeah.
Family Feud guy?
Yes. I heard he's a real big pain in the ass to work for.
Really?
Yes.
Well, all I know is my parents went to some. I think they went to a Neil Diamond concert. I don't know, but would tell people at the venue, any I guess fans, I don't know, weren't allowed to make eye contact with them.
Yeah, I had heard that. I'm pretty
I think
sure.
I'm going to start doing that here.
What?
Nobody's allowed to make eye contact with me.
Who are you going to tell that to?
Judith and you.
Judith? In sales? You're going to tell her don't make eye contact with me? Wow.
Steve, our
Yeah.
boss.
But Steve, don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Just look off to the side.
Do it. I please do. I would love it if you did that.
Frank, I'll tell Frank. No one make eye contact with me. Oh,
Yeah.
Mary Aquina.
Steve
No
Harvey.
eye contact.
Steve Harvey had his studios in Chicago for a while, and I knew people who worked like there.
Yeah.
And he just was, I guess, not great to work with. That's just what I've heard.
That's such a bummer.
I know.
Never meet your
You've
heroes.
heard it too?
Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
read that's
yeah.
a famous one.
That one and why did Rosie O'Donnell go off the rails? She
Was
got
she
weird.
tough to work with?
I don't know. She just got weird, but her show was so funny. That was my favorite show. Still is to this day. My favorite talk show was the OG Rosie O'Donnell show. She'd shoot koosh balls into the crowd.
Sounds like fun. I don't know about that.
Guys, it's Thanksgiving week, and I have to tell you, there is nothing like watching Thanksgiving football. But for football fans in Missouri this year, FanDuel is about to make it even better because with points giving, all FanDuel customers in Missouri get $1 in bonus bets for every point scored in the Chiefs-Cowboys game. So, for example, the final score is 24-21. You get $45 in bonus bets. Doesn't matter if you've already signed up for FanDuel or you've been waiting for the right moment to join. Go to FanDuel.com/Missouri. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri to score bonus bets for every point in the Chiefs-Cowboys game. Enjoy a football feast with points giving on FanDuel coming soon to Missouri. In fact, in a week from today, we get going. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The holidays were tricky for the Colonel. He loved people, but he also loved peace and quiet. So he cooked up KFC's $4.99 chicken pot pie. Warm, flaky, with savory sauce and vegetables. It's a tender chicken-filled excuse to get some time to yourself and step away from decking the halls, whatever that means. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. KFC's chicken pot pie. The best $4.99 you'll spend this season.
Prices and participation may vary. While supplies last. Taxes, fees, and fees extra.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Winter Wonderland, presented by St. Louis County Parks and Recreation. Tillis Park is open Wednesday, November 26th through January 3rd. Enjoy more than 1 million dazzling lights and holiday characters and festive scenes. Whether you're carrying on a family tradition or starting a new one, you'll never see anything like Winter Wonderland at Tillis Park. Happy holidays from Kirkwood Fence, Tully Tire, Washington U Orthopedics, Restoration One, and Happy Roof. Get more info at KMOX.com.
If you're home ready for the holidays, call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119. Take $75 off air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com or call 314-474-2020.
Hey, Jeff, looks like your business is really booming, even in a tough time for businesses like ours.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, thanks to LendSeek, our business was able to take care of some outstanding bills and taxes and to purchase inventory and expand our product lines.
Wow. You know, my business needs working capital, but only from a reputable company that I can trust and count on. How does LendSeek work?
Fast and easy. Just apply at lendseek.com. Their AI lending platform gave my business access to over 100 funding programs with one simple application. And it costs nothing to apply.
At lendseek.com, you can receive business funding with no collateral, no prepayment penalties, and no restrictions on how you use the funds. Whatever your funding needs are, seek no more. Our AI lending marketplace has you covered. If you've been in business at least 1 year with annual revenue of at least $250,000, you could get the funding your business needs in as little as 24 hours. There's no obligation, so apply today at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Hey there, it's Steven, the owner of the Photo Pros, formerly Creve Court Camera. Each day, people bring us their family history, single photos in need of restoration, piles of photos wanting them to be scanned, boxes of slides, albums, videotapes, DVDs, and even old home movies. We take them and digitize them, or what we call scan them at high resolution, and place them on a USB thumb drive. Plus, many people want additional copies for the rest of the family. Yes, we'll make you copies. Here's the best part. You don't have to send them out of St. Louis and have a chance of losing them. If needed, we can fix or restore the entire image or images. We are slightly higher priced than the internet, but our quality is top notch. Remember the Photo Pros, formerly Creve Court Camera. Come visit Mark, Derek, Daryl, Tony, and me, Steven, at our store. You can reach us at 314-567-3456 or Google the Photo Pros or even Creve Court Camera.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
All right. We talked about AAA expecting a record number of Americans to travel. I've got some details.
Oh.
I know. Here are the details because I remember initially we had asked, or a listener had asked, how many miles do you have to travel for it to count as traveling? The number is 50 miles. So Americans will be a record 81.8 million Americans. 81.8 million Americans are expected to travel at least 50 miles from home in the coming days, and nearly 90% of those will be driving rather than flying. This is according to AAA. So they will be driving rather than flying, and they'll have plenty to watch because on Thanksgiving, you've got the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. You have the National Dog Show. The dog show is a big one. 3 NFL games, Detroit and Green Bay, Dallas and Kansas City, and Baltimore and Cincinnati. The Lions and the Cowboys, of course, are both playing on Thanksgiving Day for how many years in a row? 48. 48 years in a row, the Lions and Cowboys
48.
have played on Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to think back because when I was a little kid, because when I loved football. Before I was 12 and fell in love with hockey, I felt I was in love with football. I always remember the Detroit and Dallas playing on Thanksgiving. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
They've always played.
It's pretty consistent,
My
you know.
whole life.
We had a Thanksgiving Day game, the Bears, last year. Did not go well. Got a Black Friday game this year. It's coming up.
Oh.
Eagles. It's tough. It's a
Has
tough one.
the NFL always had a Black Friday day?
I don't. You know what? You asked this question, and now I can't remember. I don't know. But there is one Friday. They play at 2
Yeah,
o'clock.
they definitely did last year. Wasn't that the Chiefs last year? Didn't the Chiefs play on Black
Was it
Friday?
the Chiefs? I don't remember.
They started the Black Friday game 2023.
Okay.
So it's been a couple years.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know you've seen this before, or you've heard about this. Whamageddon? Okay.
I think you need to explain it.
I did not hear about Whamageddon in a year, but it starts December 1st. And this is a game, like FanDuel. Starts December 1st. It's
Can you bet on Whamageddon?
I don't think you can. It's way too easy to rig. So the objective is to go as long as you possibly can, starting on December 1st. Go as long as you possibly can without hearing Last Christmas by Wham.
Well, I'm out. Thanks to Julie Tristan.
It ends at midnight on December 24th. No. It doesn't start until Monday, a week from today.
Okay, I guess I didn't pay attention enough to that caveat that it doesn't matter if you've already heard it.
Right.
It just officially
Starting
starts. Okay.
December 1st.
Well, this is going to be so difficult because
Yes.
I've been listening to a lot of the Christmas stations.
Now, what do you get if you win? If you make it all the way through?
$1 million.
You don't get it. Unless you placed a gentleman's bet or something with a friend of yours.
Can you imagine the audacity and the arrogance you have to have a contest where people don't win anything, where you win absolutely nothing?
Hey, that's us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But if you're going to participate in Whamageddon, you should. Do we make a promise to people we're not going to play it for the whole month?
Absolutely not.
We're not making that
Absolutely
promise.
not.
So we're telling people right
Honestly,
now.
I'm going to tell people this right now. If you're playing Whamageddon, at some point when you're least expecting it, we're going to hit you with it.
Yep. So have we just told everybody who plays Whamageddon to not listen to us for a month?
As I was saying that, it did strike me that it could be interpreted that way.
Okay, so we take it back. We're not going to play Whamageddon or Wham, that song probably.
Last Christmas.
Yes.
I never understood it. The line where it's this year, a semi-frontier.
What?
And I was like, what's a semi-frontier?
It's not.
It's not semi-frontier. It's to
to
save me from tears.
I'll give it to someone special.
My whole life, I thought it was a semi-frontier.
That's because you don't listen.
Well, you know what? If you grew up on Little House on the Prairie, it would sound like Frontier to you too. The Frontier is a big part of my life.
You're the oldest young lady I've ever met in my whole life. Amy March scores, Chris Ranji, hour 2 of 3. And don't forget, Gas House Gang at 12 o'clock today. Amy will stick around. We'll be back with us at 12:15 to talk Blues hockey. We'll talk SLU basketball, the undefeated men's team with Bob Ramsey at 12:30. Tom Ackerman and me. Gas House Gang at 12 o'clock on KMOX.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance to pay for the repair bills. I'm Dan Kirkpatrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With Endurance Auto Protection Plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you can never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-371-2371. That's 800-371-2371. 800-371-2371.
Wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plan starts at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting
Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Visit consumercellular.com/facts or still near you. Plans for $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
My name is Whitney Allen. I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years have to use life insurance when the unexpected happens. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, that same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Spend on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plan starts at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting
Call
used.
1-888-FREEDOM. Visit consumercellular.com/facts or still near you. Plans with $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Views, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Thank you, St. Louis, for making Genesis of St. Charles the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025. We know your time is valuable. That's why every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. Unlock your e-price and save. That means complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. Or want something new? We'll bring the test drive to you. Visit genesisofstcharles.com during the Genesis Signature event. Based on GMA sales records for 2024. See dealer for details.
It is 10 o'clock, cloudy skies, 49 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. European officials say discussions on U.S. peace proposals for Ukraine are a step forward, but warn that the path to peace remains long. The U.S. plan, which initially favored Russia's demands, has been modified. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
We are in a critical moment, and we are working closely with the United States, with European partners, with many others to define steps that can end Russia's war against us, against Ukraine, and bring real security.
A growing number of lawsuits stemming from the ICE crackdown in Chicago are winding through the courts. Authorities are investigating agents' actions, including a fatal shooting. Activists say they are not letting their guard down in case things ramp up again. Meanwhile, data released on Chicago's Operation Midway Blitz shows that approximately 97% of those arrested in Chicago had no criminal record, contradicting claims that the arrests were targeted at dangerous criminals. Some good news if you're heading to the grocery store this week. Jared Hawkins is president of the Missouri Farm Bureau and says their annual survey shows a holiday feast for 10 will cost less than last year.
Think about the traditional Thanksgiving meal of turkey and sweet potatoes and mashed potatoes, stuffing, pumpkin pie, etc. The overall cost of a typical dinner is down to $55 roughly on average, and in Missouri, we're about $10 under the national average.
Hawkins tells MissouriNet the report shows turkey prices mostly responsible for that decrease. Prices for turkey down about 16% this year. And your Thanksgiving leftovers are apparently harming the planet.
The food waste nonprofit ReFed says Americans wasted an estimated 320 million pounds of food last year from Thanksgiving alone, enough to feed every food insecure person in the U.S. 5 meals. Most of that waste ends up in landfills, where it releases the planet-warming gas methane, according to the Environmental Protection Agency. Recommendations for preventing food waste this holiday season include finding the right size turkey and correctly portioned dishes, and be sure to use those leftovers.
I wish for a turkey sandwich on rye bread with lettuce and mustard.
Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
The business desk sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. The city of Delwood celebrating the grand opening of its Gamers Paradise today. It's a new state-of-the-art gaming room at the Delwood Recreation Center on West Florissant. Mayor Reggie Jones championed the project, calling it a major investment in Delwood's youth and families. He says young people deserve a space that inspires them, keeps them safe and engaged, and learning new skills. The official ribbon cutting is today at 11.
This afternoon will be mainly cloudy with a passing shower or two and a high of 56. Tonight, cloudy with periods of rain that will taper off and end after midnight, though 51. Rather cloudy tomorrow with a stray afternoon shower, high 60. From the Saligna Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
The Dow is up about 314 points right now at 46,559.5. It is 49 degrees with cloudy skies. I'm Debbie Monray, KMOX News.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
Looks like autumn has arrived, and all fall long, the Metro Transit Day Pass is still just $5, which makes you just one click away from your one-day mental health fall getaway. Plan your trip at metrostlouis.org.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
So we have been talking a lot about screens and phones and how we're moving rapidly into a world of idiocracy. And in all seriousness, we have so many conversations about tech in the classroom, of course, phones in the classroom, but even ed tech, which is kids using laptops and computers. But it's not just kids, Ron. I told you last week my brain is fried. The phone, the screens, the addiction to notifications, the phantom buzzing has broken my brain and is really doing damage to my attention span. And the Sunday Times, which is the newspaper of record in the UK, is also concerned about this post-literate world that we're creating. People don't read anymore. Broad statement. But, you know, we've talked about our inability to focus on a paper book. I have a hard time watching TV without looking at my phone. Anyway, I say all this because the Sunday Times talked about a post-literate society, and they have a challenge for all of their readers over in the UK. But first, they were kind of laying the groundwork of what motivated this challenge.
Are we living in a post-literate society? Here is why our minds, our culture, and our politics is being dumbed down. For centuries after the invention of the printing press in the 15th century, reading was done for the social elite. But by the beginning of the 1700s, the expansion of education, the increase in books, meant that suddenly everyone could read, everywhere. Men, women, children, the rich, and the poor. Historians linked this explosion of literacy, enlightenment, human rights, the birth of democracy, even the Industrial Revolution. But now, books are in retreat. Phones are engineered to hijack our attention with endless notifications, pointless short-form videos, and social media rage bait. A new report funded by Arts Council England found that British adults are more likely to read social media posts than any other kind of content. Our universities universities are on the front line of this crisis, teaching the first truly post-literate generation, raised on clips, games, algorithms, and now AI.
So he even brought up universities dealing with the first post-literate generation. And that is not hyperbole. There was a story in the Atlantic last year about Ivy League students showing up to class having never read an entire book. And professors at Columbia, Harvard, Yale are saying that they have complaints from students saying books are way too overwhelming. They can't focus that long. How could they ever get through hundreds of pages of a book? And again, the story that he just gave, a recap, is kids K through 12, college students, but it's even adults. And so here's the challenge that they issued.
A study of English literature students at American universities found that they were unable to understand the first paragraph of Charles Dickens' novel Bleak House, a book that was once regularly read by children for fun. Yet the benefits of reading start, regular readers report sleeping well, feeling happier, and feeling less lonely. All the greatest minds of society, from Albert Einstein to Paul McCartney, read voraciously. Somewhat ironically, even Elon Musk, the owner of the social media platform X, said that he was raised by books. When students can't read deeply, they can't access the deep knowledge and critical thinking skills imparted by books. Most of all, increasingly trivial and mindless culture is a calamity for our politics. Short video always rewards emotion over evidence. As tech erodes literacy and middle-class jobs, we are entering a political era beyond our imagining. So how do we fight that? The Sunday Times is asking people to read for pleasure, which is 10 minutes a day for 6 weeks. You can also donate to book banks to get books to those who need them, and volunteer with Quorum Bookstore to read to school children. If we choose deep reading, we may avoid the calamity of a post-literate society.
He brought up Bleak House, which ironically is the first Charles Dickens book that I ever read, which is pretty random. Most people would start with even a David Copperfield, which is now my favorite book of all time, or has been since I ever read it when I was a kid. But I started with Bleak House, and I think I was 14 or 15 when I read it and fell in love with Charles Dickens. And as he said, there were college students who can't understand the first paragraph of that book, and it's not that difficult. And New York Magazine has looked into this. They have a quiz titled "Are You Smarter Than an Eighth Grader?" from 1899. It's just like how much people read and the accepted knowledge the Federalist Papers were written for farmers. At any rate, I love that they're taking baby steps. The Sunday Times is saying read for pleasure for 10 minutes a day. And I've been way more intentional on putting my phone down, maybe in the other room, and picking up a book, which I used to do all the time.
Yeah, and I think the concern is, well, there were a couple. One of them is just the ability to comprehend. So reading comprehension, if you're not used to reading long form stuff, even if it's like a 5,000 word essay or something, or an article written in a magazine, if it's not something that is fairly lengthy, you're going to, and you don't do it regularly, you're going to have a more difficult time comprehending. So you could spend, unless you have and I think some people do have a learning disability where they can, not some, many people have learning disabilities where you can read a sentence over and over again and not quite get it for whatever reason. That happens, but that's not really what we're talking about. It's just more having the ability to process a paragraph and understand what the paragraph says. And it's obvious that if the media you consume are short videos, a minute or less on Instagram or TikTok or whatever other kind of platform, and that's all you're doing, and you're not reading anything, you're going to have a really difficult time with comprehension. That's one concern. Yeah. And here's another one, which is related but not. And a lot of the news that people consume now is not coming from traditional media sources. It's coming from TikTokers.
Yeah.
It's coming from people on Instagram. And what is alarming to me is a lot of times if I see just a person whose dumb face is on TikTok and they're like, did you know this thing happened? And they go on and on about some current events thing. And maybe it's like a minute long video or a little bit less than that.
Clips that every few words are pieced together.
Yes. What concerns me is when I then go read the comments because I'll do that sometimes. I just want to see how people are reacting to this. And it's like nobody questions it.
Yeah.
They just say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened."
Well,
Well, do we know that the story was vetted? Do
Who
you
is
know that
this
this person?
guy?
Who is this person?
Yeah.
He's just a random guy who's telling you, "Did you know this thing happened?" And then is telling you in detail
Or it's
what
a-
happened about this
Yeah.
current event story, and then all of the people just take it and assume, "Well, that must be real." Like that to me is alarming because there's nobody in the comments section saying, "Well, hold on a second. We don't know who this guy is. Does he know what he's talking about? Let me go read up on this for myself. Let me go search it. Let me go search it out. Let me Google this story." So I think, again, it's not the same thing, but it's kind of related to what we're talking about because it's about comprehension and it's about, trusting sources and trusting that the information you're getting is real.
Yep. And again, a lot of times if it's a 22-year-old, girl, guy, whatever in their apartment, and it's a 1 minute clip, 45-second or 1 minute clip on TikTok. And I bring up the pieced together groups of words. I mean, we're not even talking a full sentence. Sometimes they say half a sentence and it's clipped, and then there's another half a sentence, which should also be a warning sign because true experts in a topic can talk at length on that topic without having to stop every few seconds to clip some words together. I know that's not the biggest concern, but it should strike us. Oh, that's interesting. This person can't even say two consecutive sentences on a topic that's extremely complex that they are pretending to be an expert about. My, talking to some 20-year-olds at the salon doing my hair, and I asked them, these two young girls, where they get their news. And they said, "Oh, TikTok. We get everything from TikTok."
Yeah.
Another friend of mine has kids, say 6th, 7th, 8th grade. She said, "I wish they would sit down to watch a TV show." She goes, "TV shows are way too long for their attention
Like
span."
a 30-minute TV show.
Yeah. No. She's like, no. I'm trying to
Crazy.
get them up to where they can watch a TV show because even if they don't have a smartphone, you can go on a tablet or a computer and pull up YouTube, which plays the equivalent of TikTok clips. She's like, they're in 3 seconds and they're out. Like if it doesn't catch their attention in 1, 2, 3 seconds, it's flick, 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 where they can get through hundreds of these clips. So it's so malformative for a brain. So a lot of teachers that New York Magazine Intelligencer, they have done a whole series. Well, they did a whole issue on the stupiding of the American mind, is what they called it. And they looked at some schools that are going, no pun intended, old school. There was a teacher at Highland Elementary School, and this teacher was teaching 5th grade students that the Renaissance, the Scientific Revolution, and the Reformation all occurred during the same period of history. The kids were just engaged with the story that it all happened at once. And as she was teaching the history of this era, she also introduced and reviewed vocabulary words that the students would need to understand this era. Words like heretic, rational, skepticism, heliocentric. And the 10 and 11-year-olds would ask questions and they were interested. And the thing is, there were no computers in that room. She had pen and paper and lots of history to deal with comprehending the history and understanding the vocabulary. And more teachers are saying you have to close your laptop. 90% of school students are issued laptops now. 90%. Close your laptop. You are going to use pen and paper because it activates different parts of your brain. It's a more immersive learning. They're even going back to phonics, which is great. I was hooked on phonics.
I was always hooked on it.
You got to be hooked on phonics, man. I don't know what these people were thinking when they got rid of phonics. But really interesting developments here to try to create a society that can focus, that can read, that has a vocabulary.
The thing is, the people who are creating the algorithms, the people who are creating these platforms that we are so invested and reliant upon, all of them learned the way we're talking about. All of them became brilliant by doing it the way we're talking about. They were able to read long form and they were able to comprehend and able to read books without having to stop and pick up their phone and look at it. You know, it's I don't see us. I don't know how we come out of this, or at least slow it down a little bit, because I am all about progress, but I'm not sure that this is progress. I'm not sure that it is good for us, that the way we consume media is in really short bursts with no backup whatsoever, no support sources, none of that stuff. We just trust it, right? I don't think we're headed down a good path, but I don't think there's a way to slow it down unless parents become actively involved in everything their kids do.
Well, to your point about progress, your brain's a muscle. And if you don't work those muscles, it's going to atrophy.
Yep.
And we're going to have a bunch of idiots. So just because something is easy, doesn't take any effort, doesn't mean it's progress.
Yep.
You got to exercise that muscle.
Let us know what you think. 314-436-7900 at the bottom of the hour. That means after 10:30. We're going to talk to Matt Pauley, the host of Sports Open Line. Mizzou loses. The Blues get a win over the weekend. There's a lot coming up that we can talk to Matt Pauley about on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, Regenuine, the original, presents 100 years of KMOX.
KMOX has just learned that there's been a shooting at the Kirkwood City Council meeting tonight.
There, when headlines
a suspect who shot him and killed him.
Just people at command center, and 7 people were shot tonight.
Kirkwood is a community of friends, neighbors. This is a tragedy of untold magnitude.
there for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available. Free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-269-3454. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-269-3454 for the help you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security tax. Call 800-269-3454 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-269-3454.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Thyra Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member Penner and SIPC.
Looking for some iced caffeine left in the cold. No one knows why down water costs as much as liquid gold. Told them your name was Diane. Why does this cup say cold? But then you found paradise in your cup of dust. No regrets for God today.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. I've spent a lot of Sundays right here playing in front of the best fans in football. Now, it's almost your turn to get in the game because DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to the Show Me State on December 1st. Soon, you'll get fast payouts when you win. Safe and secure app that's easy to use and promos that keep the action going all season long. It's America's top-rated sportsbook app. New customers can sign up right now for $300 in bonus bets on launch day, December 1st. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KMOX. New Missouri customers, sign up today and score $300 in bonus bets once we're live. That's code KMOX in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Visit the President, Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Hi, this is Bob Ramsey. Congratulations to KMOX, home of the Billikens, 100 years strong as the voice of St. Louis.
I don't understand the people who don't like TV. I prefer reading. Have you watched television? Way better. There's pictures, there's sound, and most importantly, no reading.
We were talking about the post-literate society we are creating with our phones and screens and technology and TikTok and lack of attention span. And Matthew, you had a question this morning as I brought up this topic and that audio from the Sunday Times over in the UK, where the Sunday Times is challenging people to read for 10 minutes a day for 6 weeks. You had a question.
Yeah. If you listen to a book as an audiobook,
Mhm.
do you tell people you read the book or do you tell them the truth? That you are not reading?
I say I listened to it
Yes,
on audiobook because it's not reading.
it's not. But it's better than nothing, but it's not reading a book.
Right.
No, yeah, I mean it's the content of the book, so you are consuming it. I think like I have done and still do this, where you can get the audiobook version of it, but then you also have the Kindle version of it, and it will sync up for you.
Mhm.
So if you're reading the book and then you're going to be in the car for a half hour, you want to listen to some of it, you can. It knows where you left off, and then you can pick it back up on the book. So it's
Yeah.
super great to do that, and it allows you to, if you're in the car a lot, it allows you to get through it quicker.
To make progress.
Yeah.
Does it tell you what page you're on? Because when you get out of the car, how do you find your page where you're
Because
at?
it will sync up for you.
Oh, sorry. It's Kindle.
Yes, Kindle.
I got it.
Yeah, it doesn't thumb through the paper for you. So,
It's like real quick, it's not reading. It's the same thing. Let's say you're dehydrated or you're thirsty. You can drink water with electrolytes in it. But if let's say you got an IV, you wouldn't say, yeah, I drink electrolytes. You'd say, I got an IV with electrolytes in it. In both cases, you're consuming electrolytes, but in totally different ways. And the act of reading, the emphasis is on the activity, the way in which you're consuming it, not what you're consuming.
right, but what you're consuming does also matter, I think.
For sure.
Right.
It's
Because
better than
it's-
like some stupid podcast.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the words on the paper is beneficial for
Our
a number of different
podcast
reasons.
isn't stupid, by the way, just to clarify.
Oh, yeah. In fact, you could probably, if you really want to, put the closed captioning on and you can read the words too, if that helps you.
Read the manuscript of our show or the,
Don't do
the
that.
transcript of our show.
Yeah, we do have a stenographer who sits in here.
Takes
Works for nothing. It's amazing.
He's just practicing. He's an intern.
So, yeah.
What were you saying?
Dude, see, this is what happens. This is what happens to your brain.
Yep.
You get so sidetracked
Well, I
because you're
said
so
it's
used to
better to you said it's better to consume an audiobook, right? Than it is junk. Listening to an audiobook is better than not.
and reading it is better than listening to it.
Absolutely. And I like paper books. I can't do Kindles. I'm just so tired of technology and screens. I like paper, and I also write in the margins and underline.
I'll defend the Kindle. You can still take notes on
Yeah,
Kindle.
there you go.
And I'll defend the screen because it is, but it isn't. It isn't like a laptop screen. It's
Not
not like the
blue
blue light coming into your eyes. It looks, I'm not going to say it looks like paper because it doesn't. It has a very similar reading experience because it's lights in your eyes.
And I love the book. I love holding the book. I love the way it feels. I love turning the pages. But I understand that a Kindle is way more practical when you're traveling because I have about 20 pounds of books. I feel like, why do we always think we're going to read 100 books on vacation? At least I do. I always bring 3 books and I usually get through all.
That's why the Kindle's great.
I know, but I just love the book.
Consolidation.
So I usually am always reading 2 or 3 books at a time. So I'm reading usually a nonfiction a fiction or 2 nonfictions. I'm listening to an audiobook. So when I go on a walk or I spend a lot of time in the car, currently Great Expectations, one of my favorites.
You were both spot on about putting down the phone, according to this text message, and more technology like laptops and reading. I also am an avid reader, but in addition to work in the brain that is coordinated. Oh gosh, I hate how these text messages come in sometimes. Yes, that's what it was. Let me just tell you what's going on here. The text messages on our screen, they come in separated for some reason. It will separate one long text into like 3 different ones, and they come in out of order. So
It is really
it's
difficult.
stupid. It's such a dumb system. Anyway, it says again, I am also an avid reader, but in addition to work in the brain like that is coordination and stick in there. Some crafts, knitting. Oh, I see what they're saying. They're saying they also do crafts like needlepoint, crochet, that sort of thing, which also stimulates your brain, is what they're getting at. It's not the same thing, but it does. Yeah, I mean, it's an activity like that does do something for your brain.
And having a mastery over the English language is empowering. You have to have a vocabulary to express your ideas and your thoughts and your emotions.
And seeing the word is better than hearing it. Because if you see how it's spelled, that does a lot for you.
It's just like trying to learn a foreign language and you never see the words themselves written down. So maybe you know the general phrases, but it adds that element of depth to be able to read and write in that language.
We're going to talk to Matt Pauley in just a few moments here. Flew, the men's basketball team, undefeated.
Wow.
They started the season 5-0. We're going to talk to him about that. Blues got a win over the weekend, and Mizzou takes the loss to Oklahoma in football. All of that and more coming up with Matt Pauley in just a moment. And we are a week away from sports betting legal here in Missouri. And there is nothing like watching Thanksgiving football. So for this week, football fans, FanDuel's about to make it even better. Points giving. All FanDuel customers in Missouri get $1 in bonus bets for every point scored in the Chiefs-Cowboys game. So, for example, if the final score is 24-21, you get $45 in bonus bets. Doesn't matter if you've already signed up for FanDuel or if you've been waiting for the right time to join. FanDuel.com/Missouri to get in on the action. FanDuel.com/Missouri. You'll score some bonus bets for every point in the Chiefs-Cowboys game. Enjoy a football feast with points giving on FanDuel, coming soon to Missouri. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Opt-in required. Bonus issued. Non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
On KMOX Day, the legends came home, sharing memories, moments, and the magic that made KMOX a national powerhouse.
KMOX pioneer Bob Costas.
I'm proud to be connected in any way to KMOX.
Frank Absher, thank you for being here. I'm glad to be back. The great Charlie Brennan, welcome back. A lot of memories today. Wendy Reese is back on KMOX, folks.
It's been a while.
We've collected more than 10 hours of incredible conversations from your favorite voices. Relive this celebration now, only at KMOX.com.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive and enjoy all the United States Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Now, KMOX from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Currently, it is 49 degrees, mostly cloudy today, and it's pretty cloudy outside studio. It could be a couple of showers and high of 56 tonight, periods of rain. That should end after midnight, low 50.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers and important decisions should not be based solely on advertising.
Weather sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
Woke radical liberals are screwing up this country, but Congressman Jason Smith is fighting back. He backed one big, beautiful tax cut for working families, ending Social Security taxes for nearly all seniors, and taxes on tips and overtime gone. So call Congressman Jason Smith at 202-225-4404 and thank him for backing working family tax cuts and putting America first. Paid for by American Prosperity Alliance.
This month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, Dr. Rohina Pani.
One thing that's important to remember is if you're concerned and you identify some family history, typically means your relative, other risk factors for this disease, talk to your doctor about your family history and for you to set yourself specialize in those programs like Siteman Cancer Center.
Cancer Center, leaders in cancer. For more information, siteman.wutl.edu.
Holiday season. Experience the power, the intensity, the legendary sound of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Coming to Enterprise Center for 2 shows, December 23rd at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. A portion of the proceeds from the 3 p.m. show benefits St. Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, 2 shows, Enterprise Center, December 23rd. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Yeah, back out. Whoa, 1 to 3. Isaac. Hey, you got it. Isaac Cole. Isaac usually not hesitant to shoot that ball. And they throw it into the student section on the run. Yo, Paulie. Paulie's a great name. Oh, Paulie. You do anything? Hey, Paulie, I was responsible.
Wait, because of you.
Hey, how about the Billikens? We are the home of the Billikens, by the way, and they are undefeated to start the season. It's been really good going for them. We'll have a game coming up on Thanksgiving against Santa Clara. That is a 6 o'clock game, but until then, they can enjoy being 5-0. Maybe they'll become 6-0 after that. We are joined by Matt Pauley, who is the host of Sports Open Line and Rush Hour Sports here on KMOX. He's with us now. How's it going, Matt?
Pretty good. How are you?
Well, not as good as the Billikens. They're just killing it.
Yeah, they are, and they really put it all together in that last game against Purdue Fort Wayne. It was a lot of fun, putting up 91 points. I think that's a better team. Coach Church made this point in his post game. That's a better team than their record would indicate. They're getting a lot of production up and down the lineup. You know, a guy like Robbie Asheville only plays 21 minutes in that game, and he finishes with 12 points. It's just you get career highs for both Deion Brown and Trey Green in that game. So it's fun. This is going to be a really good test coming up on Thursday. I don't know if people realize how good Santa Clara is. Santa Clara is 6-0, and they have wins this year on the road against Xavier, which is a really, really tough place to play. And then they also have a home win against Nevada. None of their games this year have been especially close either. They have just run their opponents off the floor every single game. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens. And then depending on if they win or lose, they'll play either Minnesota or Stanford on Friday. So with all due respect to the Purdue, Fort Wayne, Grand Canyons, Southeast Missouri, Chicago States, and Lindenwoods of the world, the competition level is really going to go up this week for the Billikens.
And this is the deal. This is it, right? We've talked to Bob Ramsey about this, who will join the show, the Gas House Gang, at 12:30. That the non-conference schedule for them is not on first glance, the strongest non-conference schedule. So they really have to do very well here if they're trying to get an at-large bid when it's tournament time. So the likelihood is they're going to have to win the conference tournament to get in, which is, fine. That's a perfectly fine way to do it. But how do you see the non-conference schedule? If they end up doing pretty well, maybe taking a loss or two, would that be good enough for them?
It depends on what conference play. The non-conference schedule does not help them in terms of building a resume, really outside of this week. If they can pick up a couple wins this week, that goes a really long way towards the non-conference record and results looking more impressive. Now, look, they go just absolutely run through the conference schedule and finish with 1 or 2 conference losses, and that probably be enough. But in terms of building a non-conference resume where you can have a handful of losses in conference play and still get into the NCAA tournament. I don't think this non-conference schedule presents that for you.
Hey, real quick, sticking with SLU Sports here, and by the way, on Gas House Gang at 12:45, we're going to talk to Kevin Kalish, who is the head coach of the men's soccer team. I know that I don't know how closely you've been following this, Matt. They beat Indiana yesterday in the NCAA tournament. They have advanced to the Sweet 16. So I know there was a big watch party at Ballpark Village yesterday for that game that started at 11 o'clock. But this is a really nice run here.
It was their first win against Indiana in 6 tournament time. They played them. It was the 6th time they played Indiana in the tournament. First time that they've ever been able to win. First time they beat the Hoosiers in Bloomington since 1999. That's a heck of a performance from SLU to get that win. That's going to be a lot of fun. And now they're going to hit the road to match up against Bryant, a game that's going to be coming up on Sunday. But a lot of reasons to be proud of Billikens athletics right now, and men's soccer is certainly one of the reasons why.
Blues got to win.
Yeah.
So everything's better now, or?
I wouldn't say that. It was good to see them win a game. They knocked off the Islanders and ended a 4-game losing streak. So let's see if they can string it together. They're going to match up against the Rangers coming up later on today. So, good to see them get a win. It's about stringing wins together at this point. I'm not going to get excited because they have to win a game.
You mentioned that they are playing the Rangers now. The Rangers have 4 points. They have 2 more points than the Blues, but I'm pretty sure they're like 1-7-1 at home. Like the Rangers, it took them a long time to win a game at home.
Yeah.
So they're having a terrible season. They still have more points than the Blues do, but you got to start somewhere. And what hurts so much about the overtime lost points that the Blues were able to snag on this road trip is that they had the lead. They had 2-goal leads, and they're giving up the lead. And they've done this with a 4-goal lead where they've given up the lead. Because normally, if you have 4 of a possible 6 points so far into your road trip, you're thinking you won 2 out of 3 games. But they didn't. They had overtime loss, and then a win. So it feels different. It feels like those 2 overtime lost points, even though you're glad to have the points, there's a negative connotation there. So the Blues do need to start holding on to the leads once they get them. They did that in the last game, but a big reason was the play of Jordan Binnington.
Yeah, look, there are times where getting the point in an overtime loss is important for the team, but nobody's gonna I don't think anybody gets done with those games and say, "Oh, hey, we got our point. That's a good night. Job well done." You still walk off the ice having just lost a hockey game, so nobody's excited about that. We all knew that Jordan Binnington, he would kind of start to come back around. I didn't think he was ever the problem. I know he was statistically the worst goalie in the NHL. I blame that more on what the Blues were doing defensively, just with those grade A opportunities. Not that Binnington was playing well, but he certainly was not getting any help in front of him. So it's all just about if Binnington plays better, if Hofer continues to kind of do what he's done more often recently, if the Blues find a way to defensively short things up, then maybe they start to turn things around. But again, I'm not trying to throw cold water on a single win. It was good. They had to win the game. It has to happen. But I'm at a point now with this team that I'm not going to get excited about 1 win. I'm not going to get excited about 2 wins. At this point, they need to prove to me that they have changed who they are.
I think you need to see, 15 games, a 15-game chunk where they're winning more than they're losing, where they're over 500 to see, that this team is turning things around.
Yeah, I don't know what the number's going to be. I just, at some point in time, if they're playing better hockey, it starts to feel real. It's not feeling real right now.
What are the implications of Mizzou's loss to Oklahoma in football over the weekend?
I mean, they're probably not going to finish out the year ranked. They fall out of the top 25 with that loss. They still have a chance for an 8-win regular season, which is a nice win. If your basement is an 8-win season, I think you're in a pretty good spot. It's certainly a disappointment this year because you go into the season talking about a team that's got an opportunity to maybe sneak into the college football playoff. There's still going to continue to be conversation about whether or not this team can go beat ranked opponents and really good opponents and come up with those signature wins that they need to be in the top 25 and more specifically higher than that against college football playoff rankings. And they got to figure out who they are from an offensive standpoint because they did nothing offensively against Oklahoma this past weekend. So I don't know if that answers the question that you were really looking for, but that to me those are sort of the implications. They're not going to play in as good of a bowl probably because of it, but they still have a chance for a nice season, an 8-win season in the regular season, and with a bowl win they get 9 wins. There's nothing wrong with being a 9-win team.
And lastly, Matt, the Cardinals over the weekend, they non-tendered Joel Pozo. He didn't play in all the games. I think it was about a third of the games. He ended up playing for them, maybe a little bit more than that. They're going to try to bring him back, though, are they not?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. So if I was Pozo, I would wait around a little bit and see if there's an opportunity to get a major league contract from their team because I think if they bring him back, it would be on a minor league deal. I wasn't surprised by this at all. Look, it was a lot of fun. Some of the moments that he had this year, Blair dramatic. He had a lot of pitch hits, things like that. He got an opportunity due to injury. But at the end of the day, his final 20 games with the Cardinals, he hit 098 with a 305 OPS. He did not contribute in a meaningful way over the final month plus. And the Cardinals are at a point right now where if they can move forward with some other guys, they've got so much catching depth. But if somebody who goes back, his job this past year before injuries was supposed to be the veteran catcher at AAA, pair alongside Jimmy Crooks, and kind of help Crooks along, and then also be somebody that if there is a need at the big league level, he can come to the big leagues and not embarrass himself. If he wants to sign up for that once again, but this time it's with Leonardo Bernal instead of Jimmy Crooks at AAA, I think that makes a whole lot of sense. But if he did enough at the big league level this year, where another team is going to look at him and want to give him a 40-man spot, then good for him. Make a little bit more money and go somewhere else.
Matt, I was out and about yesterday and catching snippets of the Chiefs game. And the last time I looked, it was the third quarter. They were down 20-9, and I thought, well, they're out of the playoffs. That's what I thought. And then they managed to win.
They did. They looked finally good offensively late. They looked the way they're supposed to look in that fourth quarter when they scored the 11 unanswered to force overtime, and then obviously they get the win. Yeah, it's crazy right now because when I'll bring this up, make sure I get the up to the moment information. But when you look at odds to win the Super Bowl this year, the Chiefs, who are not even guaranteed to be in the playoffs, are currently tied for the third best odds to win the Super Bowl. The Rams, who are really impressive against Tampa Bay, unfortunately, are number one on that list.
Yeah, I think it's the best team in the NFC for sure.
The Eagles blew a 21-point lead against the Cowboys yesterday. They're second on that list. And then you've got the Chiefs that are, from an odds standpoint, they're tied with the Seahawks and the Colts. This thing is wide open, though. This is as wide open of an NFL season that I can think of in quite some time. And if the Chiefs find a way to get to the playoffs this year, and they're going to have the opportunity to do so. But some other things have happened here recently when it comes to the AFC playoff picture, because there's a bunch of teams that are all kind of bunched up in that same area where they're sitting with 6-7 wins. And on Thursday, you saw the Texans get a win. This weekend, the Jaguars got an important win. The Steelers have fallen back a little bit now, but if they start winning along with Baltimore, they're both sitting at 6 wins. There's just a bunch of teams that are all in that 6-7 win area, and that could present an issue for Kansas City getting into the playoffs. But if they get into the playoffs, the odds makers still think they have a very good chance of being a team that can run the table and win the Super Bowl.
We want to talk about teams with 8 wins or no?
Yeah, you know what? Did you count that, Ron, to win against Aaron Rodgers, even though he didn't play?
Well, no, but they would have beat
the Bears cannot beat Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't play, but Rodgers' team, that might be the final chance. I think I think you should go ahead and say that the Bears beat Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Look, that's right. That's right.
Let's go. Let's go.
Good stuff, man. 8-3, and they'll take on so the Eagles just lost to Dallas. They stink. The Cowboys stink.
Man.
And the Bears beat the Cowboys. Cowboys beat the Eagles. So that means when you're talking about wide open, Matt, that's what this season is. And the two of them will play on Friday. So, I would not be surprised about any team making it out of the NFC this year. They're just it's nuts now. Yep.
Yeah, I think the Eagles figure out who they're supposed to be at some point, but I don't know that for sure. That was a bad loss for the Eagles yesterday.
Yeah, dude. We appreciate it. Thanks, dude.
Yo, buddy, you're fishing with me. I'll tell you back later. See ya.
Matt Pauly has Rush Hour Sports at 5 o'clock and Sports Open Line at 6 o'clock. And then he'll have Cardinals pre- and post-game coverage whenever the season comes back to us in 2026. Speaking of football, we have our results from last week's No Prize Pick'em Challenge. We'll tell you who won that bad boy when we come back on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Well, as I mentioned on Saturday, I was at the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign kickoff, and they, turn on all the lights on the Tree of Light, and it is really, wow, such an honor to be this year's Red Kettle campaign chair. I love the work that the Salvation Army does, and at the gala the other night, I spoke for just a couple of minutes, and I said, being in the news, seeing all the headlines around the world, around our country, it's so overwhelming. It can be so depressing, and it feels like, what could I possibly do to help? The problems are so big. And that's where the Salvation Army comes in. Loving your neighbor, caring for your neighbor. And we know that in the St. Louis community that the need is going to be even greater this year, not only because of all the economic challenges we've talked about, but also because of the tornadoes that hit our region. So our fundraising goal for St. Louis in 2025 is $5.6 million. Yes, last year, you guys gave $4.8 million. Incredible. So join me at the Salvation Army. You can donate to my virtual Red Kettle at salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores. No, all of that money stays right here in St. Louis. salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up. Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plan starting just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting
Call Lunchable Freedom is the consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plan for $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Hi, I'm Mike Slider. Dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Stroke. Super hard, obviously. Well, family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife, 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes. Your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
Tom Ackerman here for Busey Bank, recognizing the Guardian Angel Settlement Association as a building community partner. Guardian Angel serves under-resourced community members, helping them take the first step on the path to possible. They assist over 5,000 individuals in our community through their early childhood education and social stability programs. To learn more about Guardian Angel, Google Guardian Angel STL. Busey Bank encourages you to get involved. Together, we can build community.
This is Pat Buren, Executive Vice President at Busey Bank. At Busey, community and giving back are at the heart of everything we do. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbors and your partners. We take pride in engaging with the communities we serve and building lasting relationships because our commitment to strengthening our communities is a top priority. Whether you're shopping local for giving back through volunteerism. Every little bit counts. Join us at Busey Bank as we continue building the communities we call home.
At Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, every moment with our patients is a gift. This holiday season, you can be the reason children have hope as they fight serious illness and reach milestones once thought impossible. Your gift provides life-saving care to those who need it most. Please donate today at treeofhope.org and be the reason a child has hope for tomorrow.
This is Todd Krantz, Friends Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. We work closely with professionals in healthcare, from doctors and nurses to medical sales and biotech and pharma. Our team helps you navigate complex financial decisions like retirement plans, disability insurance, consolidating old 401ks, and understanding stock options or RSUs. We make the process clear so you can focus on what you do best. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Chris Walgie, Amy Mark Scores, The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
So earlier in the show, we were talking in the UK as well, the Sunday Times in the UK is challenging people to put their phones down and read a book for 10 minutes every day. Read a book for fun, for leisure, every day for 6 weeks. And I know I've been intentional about setting my phone down, putting it in the other room, focusing on writing by hand, studying by hand, because it just activates your brain differently. Now, Big Blonde Dan texted in, and he said, laptops in law school were omnipresent, except for one professor. Pen and paper only in that class for all the reasons you have shared, so the professor said. It was interesting. Did not convince me, but was interesting. And I will say this, by the time you're in law school, you do a lot of reading. Like there's a difference between having, I think, a laptop in law school and a laptop in first, second, and third grade. So I'm especially those developing years. I 100%. Well, when I taught honors writing and AP literature, I never allowed any laptops. All notes had to be taken by hand, much to the chagrin of a few students. But those laptops, you're going to have a notebook, you're going to have a pen, you're going to learn different methods of note taking because there are certain methods to stay very organized. But it's just that the synapses in your brain that just fire that I think really encourage learning. Now, in law school, I would probably do a combo of both. I imagine there's so much material you're taking in that for time's sake, you need a laptop every now and then. But I mean, even for the show, for the blues, whatever it is, I write things by hand. I still write the lines by hand.
Yeah,
because it helps me remember it.
Yeah,
better.
it's really good.
Lines,
for retention.
lines for the blues.
It's very good for retention.
Yeah.
So appreciate Big Blonde Dan for texting in.
Yeah.
We appreciate listener Ian for being part of our football pick'em last week.
Mm-hmm.
I am sad to report to Ian he is lost, so he does not get to come back next week. You want to know who won, Amy?
Did I win?
You did.
Did I
Amy,
really?
Amy is this week's winner of the No Prize Pick'em Challenge, or this past week's No Prize Pick'em Challenge. And this was a good contest. I think it was our closest. You came in with 5 victories.
Nice.
The rest of us had 4 each. So what really did it for you was the Green Bay game.
Because I picked the Colts over the Chiefs. I did that to encourage the Chiefs to win because whenever I pick the Chiefs, they lose. So I took one for the team and I still won.
You still won.
Yeah.
So the Green Bay game worked for you because I picked Minnesota. Bob picked Minnesota. You, Bob Carpenter, who was our celebrity picker. Congratulations, Amy Mark. Scores. You win. Didn't even need the tiebreaker to do it.
That's so
Didn't
impressive.
even
And I
need the
would have had
tiebreaker.
6 victories if I had picked the Chiefs,
Yeah,
but I didn't
you did
because
not pick the
every time I
Chiefs.
pick the Chiefs, they lose. So now I have to pick against the Chiefs every week.
You could have had a resounding victory had you done that.
You know, I've never had a resounding victory.
I know.
Mine was just sounding.
It was just barely sound.
It was not
Kind of a
resounding.
peep. It's more of a peep
A
than anything
pipsqueak
else.
victory?
Yeah, it's a pipsqueak. So congratulations, Amy. We will have a no prize pick'em challenge on Friday. Yeah, we're gonna do on Friday, are we not?
You tell me. I'm not going to be here.
Well,
Would you like to do one?
I'm going to be here. Okay. Because I'm working on Friday, so we would like to do a no prize pick'em challenge. If you want to participate on Black Friday, let us know if you're available at 11 o'clock this Friday for the no prize pick'em challenge. Just text into the show at 314-436-7900. Give us your name and say, hey, I want to do it. And you will be able to. That's coming up. Andrew Egger, White House correspondent with the Bulwark, joins us next. Marjorie Taylor Greene leaving Congress. We'll talk to him about that and more next on KMOX.
This is Congressman Bob Iger. For 43 days, the left kept the government closed, holding the American people hostage and demanding radical policy changes, including free health care for illegal immigrants. However, thanks to strong Republican leadership, the Senate voted to reopen the government and put America first. I'm thrilled to return to Washington so I can continue to vote to help Missourians to secure our nation's borders and to cut wasteful spending. Visit honor.house.gov to find the office closest to you.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives. You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
The holidays are here, filled with laughter, family, and memories. But if you're missing the punchline, the conversation, or even the music, it might be time to check your hearing. Hi, I'm Charlie Brennan.
I'm Dr. Bosler with the Audiology Center.
And I'm Dr. Voss. This season, we want you to hear every moment.
Hearing aids today can process sound faster than before. They're smarter at separating the speech from the background noise, meaning that when you're at the holiday parties this season, you'll hear the voices that you want to hear, clearer than before.
So don't wait until the new year. Give yourself the gift of better hearing today and reconnect with the people and the moments that matter most.
Call the Audiology Center, 636-441-7470, or online, theaudiologycenterstl.com. 3 convenient locations.
Call us today and make this holiday season better than last year's. Here for the holidays, here for life.
It is 11 o'clock, and right now we've got cloudy skies, 51 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. St. Louis police have released a little more information about a shooting that took the life of a 26-year-old man on Cherokee Street in Benton Park West Sunday. Investigators say the victim sideswiped a 27-year-old suspect's car before being shot. That suspect remained at the scene and was arrested. The victim was pronounced dead at a hospital. Both the White House and President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine are reporting progress after weekend peace talks in Geneva. This morning, Zelensky said Russia's demands to take Ukrainian territory are the main problem of those talks. Here's CBS's Holly Williams.
Both Ukraine and other European countries fear that recognizing occupied Ukrainian territory as Russian territory, which President Trump's peace plan says should happen de facto, is effectively rewarding Vladimir Putin for his invasion of Ukraine.
A football player for the University of Alabama, Birmingham, is in jail this morning after allegedly stabbing two of his teammates before their game Saturday. Daniel Mincy is charged with attempted murder and assault. The two victims are in stable condition. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says he regrets his initial support for legalizing sports betting and now wishes he hadn't signed the 2021 law that brought the industry's exorbitant advertising spending to his state. As two pitchers for the Cleveland Guardians became ensnared in a betting-related criminal probe, DeWine says he would prefer a ban, worrying microbets threaten the integrity of the game. Missouri legalizes sports betting officially next month. You may have seen some advertising. A new hospital at Fort Leonard Wood has now an official opening date.
The General Leonard Wood Community Hospital is set to start welcoming patients on April 7th. It's a new state-of-the-art medical facility. It's going to replace one of the oldest operating military hospitals in the continental United States. It's designed to offer modern, world-class care to service members, retirees, and their families. In a release, hospital director Colonel Angela Dybel Lee says the building is a symbol of their enduring commitment to those who serve. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Guns N' Roses announcing a stop in St. Louis for their upcoming world tour. The rock icons will be at Busch Stadium August 16th. The bands are also playing shows in Kansas City and Ridgedale, Missouri. Guns N' Roses recently released a deluxe live album box set with audio from the 80s that's been remastered. The band has 2 new singles out ahead of the tour, and tickets go on sale starting next week.
Cloudy this afternoon for the most part. A brief shower with 2 high 56. Period. The rain tonight will end after midnight at 51. Mainly cloudy tomorrow with a brief afternoon shower, high 60. Windy, much cooler for Wednesday with sunshine, high 45. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg at 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cloudy and 51 degrees. The weather sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
This is Brian Kelly. As a Florissant native, getting to work at KMOX allowed me to live out my childhood dream. Congratulations to the voice of St. Louis on 100 years.
Chris and Amy on KMOX, hour 3 of the show, and it is the final hour. Gas House Gang at 12 o'clock. And during that show, we're going to be giving away tickets for winter warm-up. We'll do that today, tomorrow, and Wednesday as we lead you into Thanksgiving. Andrew Egger is the White House correspondent for The Bulwark, also co-author of the Morning Shots newsletter. We talk to Andrew every Monday at 11 o'clock, and he's with us now. How's it going, Andrew?
Hey, guys. I'm doing great. How are you?
We're great, and we are glad that you are still working. You are still at The Bulwark and have not decided to quit like Marjorie Taylor Greene. So it's just this is the last several weeks with her, and I don't know if you want to call it like a heel turn or something, but she's there's been a lot going on with her, and it has culminated in her deciding to leave Congress altogether. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can parse this. A lot of different ways you can talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think like the bedrock thing with her is that she's a true believer, right? I mean, she's a person who came into Congress, swept in on a wave of sort of MAGA, like notoriety, e-celebrity, that sort of thing. But she's not like much of like a wheeler and a dealer. She's in there because she believes these things. Some of these things she believes are, in my view, somewhat crazy, or more than somewhat crazy. But I mean, they're real. And so like when she and Donald Trump started having this rift over stuff like her really wanting to see the Epstein files released and really fighting hard in Congress to see that happen, or her being unhappy that the administration was backing H-1B visas for white collar foreign workers to come in into the U.S. And have jobs. These are not things that she was able to do what a lot of Republicans have done over the years when they find themselves crosswise with Trump in one way or another, and just button it and just move on and decide that the fight is not worth taking. He kind of kept the fight going. Eventually, he got fed up enough about it that he sort of cut the legs out from under her. He started going after her very aggressively, said he was withdrawing his endorsement of her race. And so what she was looking at there was probably going into 2026 with the possibility of a Trump-backed primary challenger. And as she said in her video, it's not like that she would necessarily lose that. I mean, she has a ton of MAGA street cred, much more so than your median Republican. I mean, most House Republicans, if they get in red districts, if the like Trump endorsed primary challenger flag goes up, that's like an extinction level event for them. Not necessarily so for Marjorie, but her point, which she made in the video that she released on Friday night, was we're likely to lose the House in 2026. And so what I'm looking at, if I fight Donald Trump all through these midterms, fight him politically, fight him pouring a bunch of money against me into my district and win, then I just have all I have to look forward to is turning around and being in the minority in Congress and having to be Donald Trump's staunch ally. And because as she put it, she thinks it's likely that Democrats will turn around and try to impeach him if they retake the House. And so, like, the main thing she would be sticking around for, if she were to stick around, would be to be a staunch ally to this guy who, as she sees it, has kind of stabbed her in the back, making her a traitor, despite her allegiance, despite her support. And so she just basically said, I'm not interested in doing that. I'm going to get out of here on my own terms.
Yeah, Andrew, it's interesting that you say she's a true believer. She really believed whatever she was saying, not so much like a grifter, someone who jumped on later. Another person on Twitter, and I'm forgetting, but a political commentator said Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't get the joke. Like she fell for it, meaning she really believed Trump and all that he said, that he was standing on certain principles instead of Trump doing what he wants on a whim and being impulsive. And so if you're going to follow Trump, you have to be able to move with every impulse and every whim of the president, even if it means contradicting your statement from 2 days ago, right? You're completely bored. Whereas Marjorie Taylor Greene had some staunch beliefs, and I guess thought that the president actually believed those as well.
Yeah, and we're getting into this very weird moment in Republican politics, where if you look at something like the Epstein files, which I know we've talked about a bunch of times, if you look at the signatories on the Republican side for that bill, it was people who were seen up until very recently as some of Trump's staunchest allies, with the one exception of Representative Thomas Massie, who's like kind of doing his own thing out there in libertarian land. But it was Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Mace, and Robert from Colorado, who is, she and Greene sort of famously came up together. They were sort of seen as like the cutting edge of like the new MAGA representative a few years ago. The two of them famously heckled Joe Biden at the State of the Union. It was stuff like that. They both came in this way. They both came in as sort of like grassroots based types who all in the MAGA America First project, and who came in like exactly like you say, just thinking they were kind of simpatico with Donald Trump in every way. And so we're in this weird moment now where it's almost like the more established minty Republican types who are like go along to get along people are the people who are now most comfortable with Donald Trump as he does things, because if you don't have any particular like big time policy goals, if you are just sort of like a normie, sort of like empty suit type lawmaker who's just kind of in there to get reelected and everything like that, Donald Trump is actually great for you. It turns out he's sort of a meal ticket. You just embrace him, or at least this is the way it's been for the past decade. You just embrace him. You talk about him all the time on the trail. You put him in your ad. You talk up the fact that he's endorsed you for reelection, and you just stick to him no matter what. And that is like, again, at least for the past decade, has been all the basis really needed to see out of you as a random Republican lawmaker. And now, they don't want to let go of that sort of thing. So we still have all those guys, backing everything Trump is asking for out of the House to the Hill. But it's some of these people who are like, no, wait a minute. I thought it was all about this like MAGA project that we were doing. People like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert who are allowing some new daylight to show up between them and the White House. And again, he hasn't gone after Boebert or anything like the way he's gone after Greene. But that's the question. That's the question is like, is this going to be like a moment where people look at Greene leaving Congress and they're like, oh, wow, she like lost that exchange. Maybe we better like back in line, snap back into the, Trump uber alles sort of approach. Or is this going to be the kind of thing that continues to metastasize? We continue to see more and more cracks forming in the space, because it's just true that that on some things right now, Donald Trump is taking positions that are getting him somewhat crosswise from his sort of core populist MAGA base.
Yeah, and I think one of those things might be the meeting that happened on Friday between the president and the newly elected mayor Zohran Mamdani of New York. And a lot of people, the messaging from the Republican side has been, this guy is a bad guy, and obviously Trump's going to mop the floor with him when he comes into the office. And then after the meeting, Trump says, I think he's going to do a great job, and I'm going to help him. So, I mean, what is going to be the result of that politically?
Yeah, that was such a weird meeting in so many ways. Man. Just such a surreal thing to kind of watch. And I'll say I did not watch it beginning to end. I didn't see every moment of it or anything like that. But I think there's a couple factions here, right? I mean, the sort of like normie, pre-existing like Republican Party, of which there still is quite a lot of it. Those guys hate Mamdani. Like they think he's the worst of the worst. He's a Democratic socialist, right? He's like kind of everything that the sort of old school, small government GOP stood for, and like even somewhat more recent permutations of the Republican Party, like being really into the law and order, attacking the police and things like that. So he's a Democratic socialist, and he has this track record, during 2020 and Black Lives Matter of making some pretty out there statements about like defunding the police and things like that. So there are a lot of different kinds of Republican that really can't stand Zohran Mamdani. At the same time, there was this weird phenomenon that we saw, especially kind of in the post-op of that election, once the exit polls started coming out. There was like a small but not totally insubstantial like Trump Mamdani voter who are just like these guys who are really iconoclastic, really just nihilistic about the whole system, and kind of saw both of them as sort of agents of change, right? And so there's like this weird little small overlap. Then you get into sort of like the personal psychology of Donald Trump, right? Where like the people that he is maddest at most of the time historically during his presidency and just political career are Republicans who don't get in line, Republicans who cross him. And anytime he's sort of called on to interface with Democrats, and even like, kind of out there Democrats like Mamdani, like they tend to fight, they tend to have enmity. But he has this sort of streak of like, let's get in there and see what we can do, mano a mano, like charm offensive sort of thing. And I think that he was sort of like pleasantly surprised by how kind of smiles and handshakes of an affect Mamdani took when he came into that meeting. And you look at it from Mamdani's point of view, he's this recently elected mayor of a big Democratic city. One of the big kind of things on the plate of Democratic mayors in America right now is staying on Donald Trump's good side, not being the next city that he decides to put a magnifying glass on and funnel federal law enforcement or even National Guardsmen into, that he declares like a crime-riddled hellscape, a la some country or some city in Iraq or something like that, right? And so you can kind of see psychologically from each of the guys' point of view why they wanted to go in and like be chummy and be nice, but it was still very surreal to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Mamdani was asked about, I think, whether or not calling Donald Trump a fascist.
Yeah.
And Mamdani was like trying to give this diplomatic answer, and Trump's like, you think I'm a fascist? I can just, and it in some
It's
ways
easier just saying.
In some ways, it's like brilliant because he not only disarmed Mamdani, but he disarms the whole idea of fascism as if it's like a joke. It's weird how it went from, hey, this is a serious question, to he just diffused it. And that is one skill that Trump has. And I'll just say this with bizarre meetings and bedfellows. I mean, Trump was cozying up to Mohammed bin Salman and saying that on almost every issue we agree. And Mohammed bin Salman has done so much for human rights. To me, that was surreal. I was mad at Joe Biden for fist bumping him, Mohammed bin Salman, back in 2023, 2022, when he fist bumped him. I thought, you can't do that to this horrific human rights violator, this autocratic ruler. And yet Trump even said, Khashoggi wasn't liked anyway. Things happen.
Yeah.
I had to explain that.
Just extremely surreal. Yeah. And I think if you look at like the Mamdani thing, like maybe he somewhat regrets actually giving Trump this sort of like small PR coup of like letting the question about fascism sort of get laughed off or things like that. There's this weird sense in which a guy like Mamdani maybe has a little bit more leash for something like this. Like if you think back to early in Trump's second term, when there was a surreal moment that Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, happened to be in the Oval while Trump was like fielding and saying questions. I forget exactly the thing, but I think it had to do with deportation flights, or it was one of these areas in which he was sort of challenging the courts. And Gretchen Whitmer was very uncomfortably there and present, and didn't mean to be. And she's kind of holding up a binder in front of her face, and like that was kind of, for a lot of people, that was sort of seen as a moment that was like a detonation of Gretchen Whitmer's national political prospects, right? Because like, oh gosh, here's this Democratic leader at a time when Democratic voters are just like clamoring for people to stand up to this guy and show some backbone and show some fight, and she's just kind of uncomfortably there, right? And so, but she's also sort of like a somewhat more moderate, somewhat more centrist-y Democrat already, whereas a guy like Mamdani, who kind of swept in on this left-wing fervor and made no bones about picking fights with Trump on the campaign trail and like that. You can see an argument like maybe voters are not going to be like lining up to say, "Oh man, Mamdani's capitulating to Trump," like they say about Whitmer or they say about Chuck Schumer or any of these things. But at the same time, you do wonder how he will go forward. Will he keep that kind of like good times thing going, or will he sort of feel like, oh gosh, I did kind of actually let him off the hook there, and maybe we'll need to recalibrate. So we'll see about that.
What do you make of this new potential peace deal that is happening with U.S. involvement and Ukraine and Russia?
Well, it looks pretty grim if you're Ukraine. I mean, it's been this weird pendulum all along of Donald Trump striking this really aggressively sort of anti-Zelensky and Putin conciliatory note, and then flippant, and suddenly he's putting a lot more pressure on Putin, and he is seemingly much more on the same page with Zelensky and with Europe. And a lot of that goes back to Trump's sort of like improvisational style, the way he bases a lot of these decisions off of the vibes he gets when he's interacting one-on-one with these different world leaders. So it's been this sort of unstable thing. The weirdest thing about what happened, about how this plan came out this weekend, is that there was a lot of confusion coming out of the White House about what the plan was and what the U.S. approach to the plan was, because it appears that basically this thing was hatched up by this sort of like secondary envoy that Trump has working on some of these things, Steve Witkoff, who kind of cooked it up with Russian input. They kind of like hatched this plan. And then they kind of put that plan in front of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump kind of signed off on it without necessarily fully grasping what was in it, and also without looping in the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. And so all weekend, we were getting these weird things where it was being reported that this was Trump's plan. Trump and Russia were going to put this plan in front of Ukraine, and they were going to take it or leave it. And then at the same time, you had congressmen reporting that Rubio was telling them this was just something under consideration. This was not something that the White House had signed off on or anything like that. Then Rubio had to walk those remarks back. So it's been this whole mess. The terms are in almost all their particulars quite favorable to Russia. There are a few things that are not as bad as some of the prior plans. Ukraine would have to accept a cap on its standing army, but it's a much higher cap than the one Russia had demanded before, stuff like that. But in terms of the territorial lines on the map, it was almost all the basically the lines Russia's been asking for all.
Andrew Egger, we appreciate it, and we will talk to you again on Monday.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good holiday. Andrew Egger, White House correspondent for The Bulwark, with us here on KMOX. It's the Chris and Amy Show until 12 on 104.1 FM.
Thank you, St. Louis, for making Genesis of St. Charles the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025. We know your time is valuable. That's why every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. Unlock your e-price and save. That means complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. Or want something new? We'll bring the test drive to you. Visit genesisofstcharles.com during the Genesis Signature event. Based on Tony sales records for 2024. See dealer for details.
For 100 years, KMOX has been part of St. Louis. Now, Together Credit Union is helping celebrate that legacy. Starting in November, visit any Together Credit Union branch to pick up a KMOX 100th anniversary commemorative ornament for just $5 while supplies last. Each ornament supports Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis. Together Credit Union, honoring 100 years of KMOX,
the voice of St. Louis, and Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis, improving the health of all children.
Running a small business is a daily balancing act. One late shipment, one price hike, one employee issue, and your whole month, maybe the entire year, could be in trouble. That's where LendSeek comes in. I needed $100,000 fast to keep up with inventory demand. LendSeek had me funded the same day I applied. Between their AI platform finding the fastest deal and a dedicated funding specialist guiding the process, it couldn't have been easier. Our AI-driven platform matches your business with the right program from over 100 funders, up to $2 million in as fast as 24 hours. Don't wait until it's too late. If you've been in business at least 2 years with more than $500,000 in annual revenue, qualifying is simple. No collateral, no out-of-pocket costs, no hassle. From lines of credit, term loans to revenue-based financing, LendSeek is open for business. Apply in minutes at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. I've spent a lot of Sundays right here playing in front of the best fans in football. And now it's almost your turn to get in the game because DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to the Show Me State on December 1st. Soon you'll get fast payouts when you win. A safe and secure app that's easy to use and promos that keep the action going all season long. It's America's top-rated sportsbook app. New customers can sign up right now and score $300 in bonus bets on launch day, December 1st.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KMOX. New Missouri customers, sign up today and score $300 in bonus bets once we're live. That's code KMOX in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
For residential and commercial heating repairs, service, maintenance, or installation, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. With over 50 years of HVAC service, get in your comfort zone this winter. Visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
This holiday season, the Dave Glover Show is excited to partner with Hardee's and Operation Food Search for the holiday food drive. While supplies last, stop by any metro area Hardee's and make a donation of at least $1 to benefit Operation Food Search and receive a limited edition DGS holiday sticker. All donations will benefit Operation Food Search to help children and families facing food insecurities. Get all the details about the campaign or to make an online donation, head to KMOX.com/events.
Hi, this is Randy Kerrigan. Congratulations to KMOX, 100 years strong as the voice of St. Louis.
So Amy sent this story to us over the weekend.
And can I say, I'll let you tell the story, but I sent the story. I have not seen Kevin Wheeler in the meantime.
All right.
Remember that.
Remember that because this is important.
Yeah.
And I like the story because the last line in the Fox 2 story is just, I think it's great.
You going to read it for us?
I'm going to read it for you. So here's a pretty brief story from our news partners at Fox 2. St. Charles County, Missouri. One person is in custody for breaking into a convenience store in St. Charles County and stealing beef sticks.
Beef sticks?
Beef sticks. The break-in happened at the Circle K store. St. Charles County Police did not specify the location or say when it occurred, other than it took place overnight. Police shared a photo on their department's Facebook page showing a shattered entrance door. According to the social media post, the thief committed a felony with the break-in and a misdemeanor when they took the beef sticks. Now, this is the final line of the story, and it's my favorite. A motive was not disclosed.
Well,
there is a motive. You just really wanted beef sticks.
Listen.
You're starving. You want beef sticks. You want as much sodium as possible.
Until Kevin Wheeler walks
in a
through
delicious
these
package.
doors. Yeah, until Kevin Wheeler walks through these doors, I'm keeping, I think we might, listen, he lives in St. Charles. The guy lives on beef sticks. He's got
He
drawers,
has so many beef
drawers
sticks.
full of beef sticks.
If I go into the office right now and open up that fridge, there's a big bag of beef sticks.
He's 80% beef sticks at this point.
He is.
He is a beef stick.
So I just love the motive was not disclosed. What do you think it was? Why? All he stole were beef sticks.
I think he needed protein. Do you know how much do you know how hard it is to get your daily amount of protein?
It's not that.
It's pretty hard.
If you get your beef sticks,
I was supposed
super
to eat
easy.
like 120 grams of protein a day when I was training. That's a lot.
Because that's not a normal amount.
You don't know that this guy wasn't training.
It's possible.
Was he an athlete? Does it say in the story he is an athlete?
Well, so a different story, the First Alert 4 version of the story, says police say a person caused a, quote, felony amount of damage to the gas station before entering and stealing a, quote, misdemeanor amount of beef sticks.
Okay, is there a number of is there a number of beef sticks that if you steal it, it moves from a misdemeanor to a felony?
It's got to be like $500.
What's a felony amount of beef sticks?
I think it's $500 worth of beef sticks.
So if he could have gotten in to the store, well, if he had stolen the beef sticks when they were open, he wouldn't even have the felony. He would just have a misdemeanor.
Right, but then who's going to catch you?
Well,
The
send it
clerk will do it.
have a beautiful lady, big boobs. Those are very distracting.
What in the
So just a big,
I'm interested. Yeah, all right.
a big
listening.
booby lady walks in and says, "Hey," and talks to the guy or girl working at the counter
And distracts him while you steal all the
Yes.
beef sticks. Well, what if this person didn't know a big booby lady? Or couldn't get the big booby lady to come help him out during business hours?
That's true. You would have to convince her to help to be an accomplice in a crime.
And I'll tell you this, the big booby lady is not available at 2:20 a.m. for you to go stealing beef sticks.
no. That's the point. We're avoiding the felony. He wouldn't have had to break in. Wouldn't have had to break in. He wouldn't have had to break in to the store because the store is open during business hours, and the lady would be very distracting. And then he could just have the beef sticks as a misdemeanor.
Okay, I get it now. I think Kevin stole those beef sticks. Kevin will give you money for
Until he
beef
walks
sticks.
through this door, and even then, the guy's still on the lam, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. No, they caught him.
Oh, they did catch
They have
him.
a custody and they have a
Well, get a
suspect in
motive.
custody.
What's the motive?
I love it. A felony amount of damage and a misdemeanor amount of beef sticks stolen from the Circle K.
You like this better than the Louvre set?
Way better. Chris and Amy on KMOX. When we come back, we're going to get an idea what the winter is going to look like your holiday week and then maybe the winter as well. We'll talk to AccuWeather meteorologist Bill Degger next on KMOX.
Hey there, it's the owner of the Photo Pros, formerly Creep Core Camera. Each day, people bring us their family history, single photos in need of restoration, piles of photos wanting them to be scanned, boxes of slides, albums, videotapes, DVDs, and even old home movies. We take them and digitize them, or what we call scan them at high resolution, and place them on a USB thumb drive. Plus, many people want additional copies for the rest of the family. Yes, we'll make you copies. Here's the best part. You don't have to send them out of St. Louis and have a chance of losing them. If needed, we can fix or restore the entire image or images. We are slightly higher priced than the internet, but our quality is top notch. Remember the Photo Pros, formerly Creep Core Camera. Come visit Mark, Derek, Daryl, Tony, and me, Steven, at our store. You can reach us at 314-567-3456 or Google the Photo Pros or even Creep Core Camera.
Hey guys, Dave Glover here for the Dave Glover Show. So, here's my show. My show is 4 different people living 4 different lives, all coming together every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. to talk about life, actual life, not so much headlines or did you see what Trump did today or XYZ. Never predictable because I never know what I'm going to talk about from one segment to the next. So it truly is unique and unpredictable. Join us.
104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Salika Heating and Cooling Weather
Currently, it's 51 degrees and looking out the windows of Studio B, pretty cloudy. It's going to stay that way. Could be a couple of showers tonight, a high of 56. Tonight, periods of rain. Ending after midnight, a low of 50. Weather sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Furnace funky?
Then make one call.
And Jerry Kelly will be there the very next day.
Call anytime, 8 to 8, 8 days a week.
Jerry Kelly will fix your furnace or install a new one the very next day.
JerryKelly.com. When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
Roger, tell us about your experience working with 3-day kitchen and bath.
We just had a very fine experience with work that 3-day kitchen and bath done on our home. We used to take it out walls and put in a new kitchen and a new bath. Did it in an extremely timely manner with some of the finest workers that we've been associated with. Easy to work with, what we asked them to do. And each of the shops that they had was putting in the bath. You know, there's the shower stalls. It came in a timely manner. Plumber was here on time. The electricians were here when they said they would be here. And things just worked out really well for us. I've done it myself. It'll probably take 2 years.
It's about time. 3 days or less at 3-day kitchen and bath.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Oh,
It's not gonna happen for us.
it's going to happen. I believe it.
It is. We'll find
You
out.
have any Christmas spirit.
No, I just don't have any St. Louis weather for it. Our weather sucks.
No.
We have a crappy climate that barely gives us any white Christmases. It's reality. I can't make the weather be something different than it is. And the reality is we just don't get enough snow. I hope we get a blizzard.
Okay.
Now that I've said that, let's talk to Bill Degger, active weather meteorologist.
He's hung up.
No, he's still there. Can't wait to talk
I'm here.
weather with us.
Here.
Hey, Bill, what's going
Hey,
on?
Chris and Amy. How are you guys?
We're okay, just hoping that the weather cooperates. But because it's 70 degrees on November 24th, I think it won't. So first of all, let's start with this week and Thanksgiving coming up. What should we be expecting weather-wise?
Yeah, so kind of a tale of the first half of the week and then the second half as far as the weather is concerned. The first couple of days here, it's a little cloudy and showery. In fact, we got a few showers that will move through today, some rain tonight tapering off, and maybe a shower again later tomorrow as the cold front moves through. Temperature-wise, 50s today, 60 tomorrow. And then again, we see a change in the forecast for Wednesday and beyond. The cold front moves through. It's windy. It's much chillier. We're talking about low 40s for high temperatures Wednesday through Friday. So if you want a little bit of cooler weather for the get into the holiday spirit, it's coming later this week.
Yeah, I heard that, like you mentioned, the cooler weather coming Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, highs in the low 40s. And we'll drop down in the 20s. Will we? That later on in that
We will, yeah. The nighttime low temperatures easily dipping into the 20s Wednesday night, Thursday night, maybe Friday night as well. So, yeah, when we wake up for a couple of mornings there at the end of the week, including for Thanksgiving, it will be quite chilly. So yeah, maybe you can bundle up for those backyard football games. You're doing those later this week. And there is a slight chance of a little bit of wintry precipitation. There's a storm that moves in Friday night into Saturday, could bring a brief mix of rain and snow, especially areas north of the city.
Yeah, I did something you're not supposed to do, which is I looked at my weather app and was trying to see what the end of the week would bring. And I did see that question of precipitation. And if it does have some rain/snow and the temperatures drop down to the 20s, does that mean it could stick and cause some travel issues?
It could. And I think this is especially most likely the further north of the city you are, because with the precipitation comes clouds, and that sometimes put a little on temperature. So perhaps not falling into the 20s Friday night around that freezing mark when the wintry mix moves in. So maybe the major roads are okay, but those secondary roads, secondary surfaces, and again, further north you go, could be a few hours of slippery weather there Friday night into early Saturday.
So if you are traveling up north on those days, you might want to be careful or plan ahead for that. What about traveling east or west? Any issues there?
Yeah, so not only around that time traveling to the north Friday and Saturday, but there also is going to be a winter storm that moves through the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, the UP, and Michigan as early as tonight through Wednesday. They're expecting accumulating snow north of the Twin Cities, maybe even blizzard conditions up there. So if you have any travel plans to take into the upper Midwest and northern plains, definitely have to adjust to that. If you're traveling off to the east, again, this system is bringing us the showers tonight, the rain tonight into the day tomorrow will be working its way towards the big cities along the East Coast Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. So there could be issues with the airports from that. And also travel to the Pacific Northwest. What's called an atmospheric river gets set up there. So we'll be getting doused with rain Tuesday night into Wednesday in places like Seattle and Portland.
What about over the weekend as people are coming back from wherever they might be?
Yeah, very busy travel heading back over the weekend, especially Saturday, Sunday, even into Monday. Some people come back, and we might have another storm again taking shape. The same system that'll bring us that chance of a rain snow mix Friday night into Saturday could really expand across a good portion of the Rockies, Midwest, and Mississippi Valley. So there could be lots of issues for travel back, especially on Sunday across the nation's section. Travel, though, in the east and the northwest is okay there.
All right. Now let's get into the bigger picture winter that we've got coming up here as we move into December, a week from today. And, we always dream of that white Christmas. And I know it's difficult to predict several weeks out, but what kind of winter might we expect?
Yeah, so it could be an interesting winter from the standpoint that a La Nina is in charge, and that could mean an active storm track right through the center part of the nation, including the St. Louis area. So not only do we expect frequent precipitation events, but there could be cooler than average temperatures as well. So combine those two. Perhaps we could get a little bit above average in the snowfall department. In a typical winter, St. Louis is about 16, 17 inches of snow. Last year, we had about 18, 19 inches. Could we get above 20 inches all told for the winter? Yeah, that's certainly a possibility if the weather pattern holds. And as far as, when we expect that colder air to be in place, it looks like December may get off to a pretty quick start with chilly air, and then maybe it warms up for a couple of months after that before another round late in the winter. So this is all to say that maybe the average for a late Christmas or the chances of a late Christmas this year are slightly higher than our typical 15% or so probability for a late Christmas. That's the historical average for St. Louis, about 15%.
How far out are you comfortable when it comes to projecting snowfall for like
Not
a week?
very far.
Okay, like 3
Yeah,
days.
about a week to really hone in on some of the details with storms. Beyond that, you can get a sense for the general pattern. Like, hey, it probably will be colder or warmer than average this week or two. And then once you go out beyond a couple of weeks, the skill gets even lower. That's why we have to look globally and look at ocean temperatures and air patterns to kind of get an idea of what could be happening several weeks and months out. So, again, as of what we're seeing right now, globally, temperatures slightly below average maybe this winter, precipitation slightly above average.
I know I've heard a couple of different conversion rates, but Bill, I would like to get yours on how many, like 1 inch of rain is equal to how many inches of snow?
So traditionally, if you're right around that freezing mark, 1 inch of rain typically equals about 10 inches of snow. Now,
That's great.
Okay.
That's what I'd heard.
Yeah, but it depends on the temperature. If the temperature is quite chilly, like you're in the 20s, teens, the single digits, you can squeeze more out of that 1 inch of water. You can get 15, 20 inches of snow. But if the temperature is actually above freezing, it's really wet snow, you can get less out of that 1 inch of water, so maybe 5 inches of snow. So it really depends on a lot of factors, most notably the temperature.
What is more likely to cause an avalanche? Wet snow or dry snow, or does it not matter?
Well, I don't think it really matters. Most snow that falls in the mountainous region, it tends to be dry, powdery snow. It's when temperatures change, especially later in the winter when we start to warm up, we get some rain on top of that snow, and it adds to the weight of the snowpack. So not really the type of snow that's in place in the mountains. It's traditionally already a powdery snow. And if you get a little bit more moisture in that snow from rising temperatures or rain falling on that snow, it increases the weight of the snow. It's going to go down a mountain pretty quickly.
What is the threat of an avalanche here in St. Louis?
Near zero, I believe.
Near zero?
Yeah.
If we do have one, where's it coming from? Hidden Valley?
Well, if you pile up some snow in a parking lot really high, maybe you can get a mini avalanche. So
That'd be kind of interesting.
You know, I'm always fascinated by the big pile of snow that happens after we plow it because it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't melt until it's 90 degrees. So it will just sit there for months.
And after a few days, when the top layer melts, it's that ugly, brownish, dirty snow color that everyone just wants to look at.
That's my favorite.
I have a question from first grade. Ranj, did you read a lot about acid rain?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They used to have commercials about
terrified
it.
of acid rain. What happened to that?
Well, acid rain still can exist. I think that was more of a thing back in the, before there were more regulations per se on some of the industrial plants. When you get more pollution in the atmosphere, and sometimes that particulate, which what we call those little fine particles of whether they be chemicals or soot or whatever, can attach to raindrops and then fall back to earth. But I don't think acid rain is really a thing anymore, thankfully. So I guess we count our blessings.
Hold on. Were they just lying to us?
Like quicksand?
Was it never a danger?
Yeah.
They could have been scaring us, yeah.
So speaking of acid rain then, and just pollution in general, every kid when it snows goes out and wants to make a snow cone. Do you not recommend that?
Well, again, for that very reason, I was talking about how there could be little fine particles that originate from industrial sources in our snow. Maybe not to the point where it's acid, but that's probably not pure water that you're going to get in that snow cone. I did it as a kid. And I'm okay. I turned out fine, I think.
Nothing residual, no problems.
Yeah, no. I don't glow at night or anything. I think I'm okay.
That would be fancy.
Well,
it will be.
Yeah, Bill, just be careful out there with all that snow. And if you hear of anything nasty coming our way, please notify us. Because we're always.
I will. I'll be on the look out for that acid rain and the avalanches for sure.
And how's the ozone doing? Everything good?
We're good. Everything's good there.
We got rid of the canned hairspray or the
ozone layer.
CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's different ways there's more modern ways to deal with hair loss than spraying your hair with something bad for the environment. That's
good. Bill Degger, thank you very much for keeping us updated.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
You too. That is AccuWeather meteorologist Bill Degger. We might get more snow than normal this winter. That makes me very happy.
I haven't thought about acid rain since 1989. I've been holding that question in my back pocket.
Amy, I've told you this, right? That with snow, if there's a forecast of it that we might get it, that I will get angry. I've told you this, right?
Yeah, but that's not special.
I get viscerally angry if the snow doesn't happen.
Well, just assume
if they
it's
tell
not
us we
going
might get 2 to 3 inches of snow and then it's nothing, I get angry.
Chris Myhill, the old executive producer here at KMOX, he was a snow truther. He never believed it. He just knew they're getting people riled up. You got to keep the people riled up.
And before we hit the break, we have a little bit of breaking news. Our Frank Ladd has informed us that James Comey, the case against James Comey has been dismissed. The U.S. attorney was not lawfully appointed. The case was dismissed without prejudice, which means it could be refiled. But we're beyond the 5-year statute of limitations. So,
to be honest, I saw the last part of that first, that the case was dismissed.
And you thought it was about the sheriff? Yeah.
That was the sheriff update.
We have no update on the sheriff. Hopefully, Sean Malone will check in the next few minutes with something breaking because that trial happened today. Nah, it's probably still ongoing.
Well, you can't unlawfully appoint your attorney.
No.
Even I know that.
We'll dismiss that case right out.
Without prejudice, though, that's good.
Yeah.
You don't want prejudice.
No, prejudice is bad. Yep. Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Okay, well, as you heard me say earlier, I just had so much fun. I was so moved to tears a couple of times actually at the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign kickoff. It's so moving, so encouraging, so heartening to see the work that the Salvation Army is doing right here in our area. So in 2024, the St. Louis community, including dozens of corporate partners, showed up, raising more than $4.8 million for the Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign. And here's the thing, we have even more need this year because of economic challenges, inflation, and the tornadoes that just devastated our region. So our fundraising for 2025 is $5.6 million right here in St. Louis. And all that money raised through Salvation Army St. Louis stays here in the St. Louis area. I've got my virtual Red Kettle. You can join me and give at salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores, salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores, and help support the Salvation Army. Thank you to those that have already given. And I will see you out at a grocery store soon. I'll be ringing the bell.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to homers to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. Plus, with live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has started, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. FanDuel is the best way to game day, and it's coming soon to Missouri. This way, you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game with FanDuel, the #1 rated sports app. Must be 21 and over and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/2025. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Adam, what are you thankful for? Great question, Nick. My new son Henry eating too much mom's pumpkin pie. I'm grateful that Legacy Box has been able to help millions of people safeguard their important recorded moments. And with our Black Friday event that starts now, more families can enjoy digitizing their home movies and pictures with an insane 65% off. Legacy Box is the best gift for you or a family member. It's what Better Homes and Gardens calls the most sentimental gift to make this holiday season special, and what Reader's Digest called a genius product. That's because Legacy Box is simple and safe, and we digitize everything by hand. You'll get your originals back, plus digital copies that protect your treasured tapes, film reels, and photos from floods, mold, even the decay of time. So while the stuffing is in the oven, make sure to visit Legacy Box and shop our Black Friday event and take an unreal 65% off. With limited quantities ready to ship, this deal will go fast. Black Friday starts now at legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com to take 65% off. legacybox.com/value.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
It's time now for today's Spotlight on Money. Thanksgiving is about feasting with family and friends, but cooking the big meal does not have to be a part of that tradition. Izzy Parrish, president of Hospitality Works in Chicago, says the restaurant Thanksgiving is a trend that shows no sign of slowing down.
Just enjoy time with the family, no cleanup, just a good time. This is the direction that things are going.
I'm Rob Hart.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer: an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your online traffic. So this Black Friday, get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal with 73% off and enjoy 3 extra months.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This has been a test of the emergency alert system. This was only a test.
It's the biggest savings event of the year. Menards, 11% rebate ends Thanksgiving Day. Save big money on everything you need for any project. We've got something for everyone. Homeowners, contractors, DIYers, the kids, and even grandma. Hurry, Menards 11% rebate ends Thanksgiving Day.
Save big money at Menards.
11% mailing rebate for merchandise credit check. Good on future in-store purchases. See menards.com for details.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
Just ran into Tom Ackerman in the hallway. Not wait for the Gas House game at 12 o'clock when it gets started. He's all pumped up.
Awesome.
SLU is undefeated. We're going to have their men's soccer coach at 12:45, Kevin Kalish. They have advanced by beating Indiana, and that happened yesterday, so they will play in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. Gas House game coming up. Amy Mark scores a part of that at 12:15. We'll talk SLU basketball at 12:30 with Bob Ramsey, and then the men's soccer coach at 12:45. Also, in case you missed it, the Department of Justice cases against James Comey and Letitia James have both been dismissed by a judge. So there will be more about that in the top of the hour news.
But more importantly, I found out how many beef sticks you can steal before it's a felony. So
Yes.
here's the
I
thing.
thought it was $500 worth. It is not.
It's not. So again, it is not the number of beef sticks stolen that makes it a felony.
It's the cost.
total monetary value. You have to steal under $750 of beef sticks.
For it to remain a misdemeanor.
Yep. Once you steal over $750 worth of beef sticks, it's a Class D felony. Now, if you stole $25,000 worth of beef sticks, it would be a Class C felony. That's a lot of beef sticks, though. Honestly, $750 worth of beef sticks is a lot of beef sticks.
Wouldn't that be a truck full if you stole
Not just
$25,000?
Probably.
Probably.
Also, I have a fact that's related to nothing, but I just have to share it because I learned it. Now you guys need to know it too. Remember Tony Blair, the old
Yes,
UK
Prime
Prime Minister? Yep. And his wife, Sherry Blair.
Yeah.
Her full name is Sherry Booth Blair. Guess who she's related to?
John Wilkes Booth.
That's right.
No, seriously?
Seriously.
Oh.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Remember
They're related.
Remember the whole "my name is Mud" thing? You know, remember that? So there was a doctor who treated John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah.
I believe his last name was Mudd. And so, if I'm not mistaken, he not only did he treat him, but he harbored him, sort of kind of hid him.
Why did I
for a
think
little
my
bit.
name is Mud was something that Bugs Bunny said?
He did.
Oh, did he?
But that was like a common phrase back then.
Okay.
And it was left over from John Wilkes Booth.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Right,
Well,
because it was,
Sherry-
you did not want to be named Mud after all that.
Yeah.
You aided and abetted the guy who killed the president.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
President Lincoln.
Sherry Booth Blair.
I think, see, I would think.
Yeah.
This is just me, though. I would think that you would want to change your last name after that.
Well, she
If
changed
you were
it. Yeah.
related to him.
Yeah. There are a lot of names you would want to change, I would think.
Oh, there's probably some people in the South who are proud of it.
Booth.
Yeah.
What about Wilkes?
Oh, yeah. Poor Wilkes. Oh, poor Wilkes.
That's it. That's all I had. That
That's
was
it.
my
Oh,
fact.
that's great news.
I thought it was a fun fact.
Yeah.
Random.
Is it as random and fun as Guns N' Roses coming back to St. Louis August 16th at Busch Stadium?
I would say it's more random than that.
Is it?
Yeah. They are coming back
They are coming back
and they're going
performing.
to play for real this time.
Yeah, didn't they? That's what happened last time, right?
No,
It was
they canceled.
yeah, they canceled.
They
on us.
canceled for, I thought they said health reasons. I think the real reason is they didn't sell enough tickets.
See, I had heard that
Now I
too.
feel
I
like
don't know if
now I
that's
feel like
true.
I'm libeling or disparaging.
Yeah, I
them.
wouldn't say that because I don't know if that's true or not. I heard the same rumor, but that's only a
Did I
rumor.
hear it from you,
No,
Ron?
no, I
My
don't
mom
think
will
so.
tell me things, and she'll say, "Hey, I heard this," and I'll say, "We said that on the show." She's like, "Oh yeah, that's what I heard."
Thanks for comprehending, Mom. We appreciate it.
I think you told me the Guns N' Roses thing.
I don't know. That's just what I heard from you. I thought.
Many people are saying.
So the Gas House Gang is coming up. Tom Ackerman and me. Amy will be part of the show talking Blues, Billikens basketball with Rammer, and Kevin Kalish, the head coach of the men's soccer team, still going in the NCAA tournament. That's next. But anything you missed on this show on the Odyssey app, iHeart app, or wherever you get your podcast, back with you tomorrow at 9. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Discover the life you want at Fairwinds Riverside in St. Charles.